Having no cards in hand in love, I was afraid she'd withdraw this affection and have no way to hold on. That's why I immediately thought of begging her not to break up, always in a state of anxious uncertainty about gain and loss. Summarized in one sentence, I felt this love wasn't real. Felt my participation in this love was too low. Had no sense of reality. Then give something real. No cards in hand? Then I'd give her some cards. Having clarified these issues, I asked, "I'm your boyfriend, right?" At that moment, Sophia was thinking about how to keep me interrupted by the sudden question. She looked up at me, looking at that somewhat silly girl. I asked again, "I'm your boyfriend, right?" Hearing me ask again, Sophia hurriedly nodded, humming softly. I extended my right hand, palm facing her. "Then can I hold your hand?" Sophia looked at my hand, not quite processing yet. I asked again, "Can I?" Sophia quickly came to her senses, her right palm rubbing hard against her pants, then tensely extending her hand to grasp mine. I couldn't help but laugh lightly, letting go of her hand and saying, "You're really silly, so silly." Right hand holding right hand is called a handshake. While speaking, I grasped the left hand hanging at her side. This is called holding hands. Seeing that silly girl still in a daze, I playfully curled my pinky, lightly scratching her palm. The sudden ticklish sensation, Sophia shivered slightly. Her pretty face flushed red, no longer frozen. I smiled brightly, asking, "Not frozen anymore?" She stammered a reply, gaze avoiding, not daring to look at me. Under the sunset light, our two shadows stretched endlessly. The blush on her cheeks was more radiant than the setting sun itself. Sophia let me hold her hand as we walked the road home together. I gently got lost on love's returning path. Don't look at how calm I seemed. As if I were some experienced romantic. Actually, my heart was racing just as fast as hers. Heartbeat accelerating equally. There was no such thing as calm. Just that, thanks to years of workplace training, I barely managed not to show my awkwardness. In the cool weather of mid-autumn, my palm was also sweating. This was the first time we officially held hands as a couple. Very worth remembering. I suddenly had an interesting idea. Tilting my head, I suggested to the girl beside me, "Make a wish." Sophia looked at me shyly, not understanding what I was saying. I said, "This is the first time we've held hands since becoming a couple. On such a meaningful day, wishing for something. It'll be really lucky." Sophia vaguely hummed acknowledgement. Though only understanding hazily, she still obediently thought about it. What should I wish for? Her gaze looked into the distance, murmuring, "If only there were a shooting star." I heard the words, "shooting star." Sophia said, "Don't people always say wishing on shooting stars is very lucky? I think if on a memorable day like today, a shooting star streaked by, the wish would definitely come true, right?" She truly had a wish she wanted fulfilled. I found it a bit funny. What was the difference from summoning a final boss? Sophia also laughed, saying that actually did make sense. While she was thinking about what to wish for, I saw a shooting star streak by in the distance in that instant. I said, "I think compared to shooting stars, we should wish on the sun instead." Sophia asked, "The sun?" I nodded, turning toward the sunset. Light gleamed in my eyes, brilliant and sparkling. "The sun will rise again. And wishes will become reality too." I said it gently, naturally. Yet it made people feel strangely happy. The sunset light fell on my face, blending shadow and light and dark intertwining. Even my facial features became gentler. Sophia watched me intently. Her heart seemed to echo with a great sound. "You mean, our dreams will also become reality?" Anyway, I knew everything she was thinking inside. Thinking this, she gently closed her eyes. Actually, I was just simply admiring the sunset. I suddenly thought of something. Why must we wish on shooting stars and not the sun? Just a spontaneous remark, all unintentional words. I had no idea that, just because I'd guessed correctly several times, the obvious thoughts of a certain silly girl. She'd practically deified me, believing I couldn't possibly not know any thought in her heart. Precisely because of that, those unintentional words were given special meaning. I forgot that sunset light could make eyes sting. Withdrawing my gaze, I looked toward Sophia. At that same moment, Sophia had just finished making her wish, corners of her mouth carrying a smile. Opening her eyes, our gazes met. Tenderness gleamed in her eyes. Her voice was especially gentle too. I finished wishing. When you were wishing, I was going to secretly take a photo. Why'd you sneak off to wish already? A bit of a shame. I casually asked what she'd wished for. Sophia smiled with pressed lips. Shaking her head, not telling you. Clearly knowing what I'm thinking inside. Yet deliberately asking me, really bad of you. Some things said directly still felt embarrassing. I was the same. If you say it, it won't come true. Sophia nodded, humming acknowledgement. The two of us just kept holding hands and walking. After walking a few steps, Sophia asked me, aren't you wishing? Only me wishing? I smiled lightly, feeling the softness in my hand. My wish already came true. Sophia was curious. What wish was it? I pretended to answer seriously. You didn't even tell me. So why should I tell you? Going in circles again, returning to square one. We laughed and talked on the road home, trampling the lengthening afternoon shadows. Our two shadows gradually drew closer too. Two hands playfully, silently, naturally intertwined tightly. Two restless hearts also found where they belonged. My beloved, you can always see through me with just one glance. Then I have nothing left to hide from you. I just want to tell you. I'm trying step by step to walk out from my own shadow. I'm a bit silly, so this process will be very slow. I hope you won't hate me for that. If possible, please give me a bit more time. I still want to stay beside you longer. If you're a forest, then I'm willing to be the wind threading through every tree. If you're mountains or seas, then I'm willing to be the rain, endlessly cycling. If you're nothing at all, just an ordinary man, then as long as you say you love me, I'll be willing to be your husband. Just wait a little longer. My beloved. Chapter 24. I'll take care of you. Saturday morning, past 7 a.m. I truly never expected that. After returning home to work here, my first weekend, I'd wake up even earlier than workdays. In the farmer's market, my mom was squatting by the vegetable stand, selecting meticulously. I stood behind carrying vegetables, dazed and spiritless. Though surrounded by bustling noise, it didn't affect me dozing off standing up. Yesterday afternoon, holding Sophia's hand felt so good. After getting home, I was still excited. Messaging on Instagram until late before sleeping. I thought I'd catch up on sleep this weekend. Never expecting to be dragged from bed by mom early morning. Forced to follow to the market as a porter. $6.50, I'll give you 6 even. Hearing the vendor quote prices, I immediately snapped awake, quickly stepping up to take the vegetable bag from the vendor's hand. Another bag hung on my arm. My mom finished scanning to pay, tilting her head to ask if I wanted fish. I really didn't want any. Just wanted to finish shopping quickly and go back to sleep. Huilan, my mom, said, all right then. Let's go look at some fish. I didn't need to ask where the fish stalls were. This small county market had no proper layout at all. The ground around the fish stalls was sopping wet. After gutting fish, they'd splash water. Scales and innards flowing smoothly down the drain. The fishy smell rose thick and heavy. My expression didn't change. Pretending I smelled nothing. No reaction at all. I was used to it. Back in school, mom often dragged me here. This place wasn't unfamiliar. The first time I came, I nearly threw up several times. I still remember it vividly. Mom went to select fish. I stood back a little. Standing here, I couldn't doze off anymore. Had to stay alert. Move aside. Hearing a fish vendor's shout. A basin of water splashed hard onto the ground. Water and fish scales scattered everywhere. Slowly flowing toward my feet. I didn't even bother glancing down. Just lightly lifted my foot to step aside. Same old saying. I was used to it. As a kid wearing flip-flops wandering everywhere. Not paying attention, water flooding into my shoes. Slippery enough to hurt my feet. That was a lifelong lesson. Nothing beats experience bought with tears. Waiting a bit longer. The vendor finished weighing the fish, quoted the price, and started bagging it. I very nimbly stepped forward. Forgot what happened before. Forgot midway too. And didn't remember what came after either. In short, when leaving the fish stall, I had one more bag of fish in my hands. Huilan, my mom, walked ahead. We're out of fruit at home. What do you want? I walked behind her, skillfully avoiding the crowds too. Pears. Pears are really sweet lately. So Huilan bought a bunch of bananas and 2 pounds of apples. I figured there was no need to answer, the fruit was already bought. Mother and son conveniently exited through the back door of the farmer's market. The street-side fruit stands outside were very crowded. All locals from this area, carrying cloth bags for shopping. The speaker in front of the small supermarket kept blaring, constantly advertising the egg promotion. Many middle-aged and elderly people passing by. Rarely saw young people, full of everyday life. I walked behind Mom. My drowsiness completely vanished. Glancing around, I asked Mom, "Eggs are on sale. Want to check it out?" I asked. My mom glanced at the small supermarket, listening to the prices herself for a moment. I pursed my lips. More expensive than when I bought them on Tianfu Road. This place is 2 yuan more. What sale? Just tricking people. Just to lure. I didn't finish before falling silent. I turned to look. Saw Mom smiling radiantly toward the supermarket. I followed her gaze. Over there, a middle-aged woman with a bright smile was approaching. Hands full of shopping bags, including 2 cartons of eggs. Shopping? The middle-aged woman spoke up, immediately walking shoulder to shoulder with my mom. My mom also smiled back. Yes, the middle-aged woman lowered her voice, like whispering state secrets. Eggs are on sale, really cheap. Last time I bought too many. Haven't finished them at home yet. Such a shame. About to continue talking, the middle-aged woman suddenly noticed me standing beside them. A tall young man standing there. She tilted her head to look. Oh my goodness. Is this your son? Haven't seen him in so long. He's gotten so tall and handsome. She looked me up and down, laughing cheerfully. Do you remember me? When you were little, you used to play with my daughter. To be accurate, her daughter kept dragging me to her house to watch cartoons. In elementary school, I was in the same class as her daughter. Our homes were close too. Plus, that girl had that popular cartoon DVD back then. I frequently ran to her house. Now I didn't remember too clearly. It was too long ago. But one thing still stood out. Her and her husband shared the same surname. I vaguely remembered it was Zhang. I rummaged through my memory. Smiling back, "Hello, Mrs. Zhang. You remember?" Mrs. Zhang was overjoyed. "Great memory. Back then, just you and my daughter. Every year the teachers praised you as the excellent trio. Heard you got into Peking University? Went straight through to your master's too? Really impressive. My daughter doesn't compare. Couldn't even get into a top university. But fortunately her job's decent." Here she paused slightly, eyes darting around before suddenly asking, "Heard from your mom you came back to Riverside to work? How's the salary now?" Facing Mrs. Zhang's probing question, I glanced at Mom. Mom silently signaled me. I smiled politely, answering, "Yes, just returned to Riverside this week. Just graduated. Just over 5,000. Mrs. Zhang relaxed her shoulders, face beaming. "That's already great. Really great. My daughter worked 2 years after college. Her salary's only over 7,000, not even 8. Young people nowadays all struggle. Work pressure is huge. Like her, what she earns just supports herself. Yet she insists on buying me a phone. I said I don't need it, but she wastes money anyway." How could I not understand what she was trying to say? So I went along with her, saying pleasant things to please her. I said mildly, "Can't say that. That's her sincere heart. That's filial piety." Huilan quickly chimed in, Right. A child's heart. You're truly blessed." Hearing that, Mrs. Zhang smiled even more radiantly. Then the two began an endless mutual praise mode. A moment later, Mom and I waved goodbye to Mrs. Zhang on the sidewalk. Standing at the curb waiting for the light, Huilan asked, "You still remember Mrs. Zhang?" I watched the traffic flowing around us. Just have some impression left. Crossing the street, mother and son walked side by side. "Need me to carry some stuff for you?" "No need, not too heavy." Huilan said, "Don't take her words to heart. She's always been like that. She glanced at her son carrying bags beside her, pursing her lips slightly. You working in Beijing? Buying a house, a car. Dad and I never mentioned it outside. Otherwise it wouldn't be her turn to brag. Huilin naturally understood those petty thoughts of her old friend at the market, which was why she didn't dare mention my Beijing salary, afraid it'd be too shocking. I glanced around, wanting to comfort Mom a bit. I said, "It's fine, Mom. I don't care either. She just wants to borrow others' misfortunes to highlight her own happiness. If truly happy, why need to prove it? Who doesn't like hearing about others' bad luck? Like studying all those years, graduating but still can't find work. Life going nowhere?" I shook my head, laughing, mocking myself. Besides, my salary really is just over 5,000 now anyway. Alright, Huilin cut in. How much you earn doesn't matter. Mom can still support you. I joked, that's great then. Tomorrow I'll quit and stay home. Huilin immediately shot back. Dream on. I'd rather support a teacher. I said, but you said you'd support me. Huilin, but staying home won't do. You'd have to cook, wash dishes, do laundry. I pursed my lips. Then I'd rather go back to work. Of course, all just joking. My mom just didn't want to compete with anyone. No need to argue to win. If taking a step back meant losing nothing, and could silence others, I didn't mind stepping back a few more times. That was the art of yielding. Mother and son chatted a bit more. Huilin didn't ask more about salary matters. My family wasn't the type where everyone lived off the son alone. Both my parents had stable jobs. They didn't stress about that. Arriving home, Huilin went to the kitchen to process the vegetables bought this morning, assigning me to peel garlic. While waiting for water to boil, she turned to see me squatting by the trash can, meticulously peeling each garlic clove. She couldn't help sighing. Her son had truly grown up, knew to give others face, knew how to handle things skillfully. No longer sharp-tongued like when young. Every time others provoked him, he'd stubbornly argue back about everything, only knowing how to refute to the end, clearly showing his argumentative nature. Earlier at the market, I kept signaling, afraid my son would argue with that nosy person, making everyone uncomfortable. The scene would be very awkward. Thinking about it made sense. In the early teens, still impulsive, arguing back was understandable. But if past 20 and still retorting to everything, that was too childish. Time to grow up. Just that I still saw him as a child. Huilin thought this to herself, considering his handling ability natural. But actually, few peers could reach that level. And what my son displayed was just the tip of the iceberg. If Ethan Carter wanted, he could totally, depending on purpose, devise even more effective methods. Just unnecessary. In life, knowing what you want is enough. Chapter 25. Is your place convenient? Things stopped there. I finished peeling the last garlic clove, excitedly dropping it in the bowl, like hitting the enter key on a keyboard, or placing the final period on homework. Done, Mom. I finished peeling. I brought the garlic bowl to the kitchen. Mom took the bowl and glanced over. Not enough, I said, then I'll peel 2 more bulbs. While speaking, I grabbed 2 bulbs, preparing to go back out. No need. Huilin took the garlic from my hands. I was still wondering why, when I saw Mom separate the garlic, placing it on the cutting board. Thwack thwack. Swift and decisive, she picked up the large knife. Using the flat side to smack twice, all the cloves were crushed. Then she carried it to the trash can, blowing and rubbing, blowing away the garlic skins. 2 bulbs processed in a flash. Mom peeled while saying, "No time now. Mom needs it immediately." So that's how it's done. I momentarily didn't understand. Earlier I'd squatted by the trash can, diligently peeling for nearly 5 or 6 minutes. What was that even for? I stepped closer, watching Mom chop. Hesitating, I still couldn't help asking, "Mom, is there a difference between smashed garlic and peeled garlic? Either way, it all gets minced for cooking." "What difference?" Huilin glanced at me, looking at me like I was being stupid. I asked again, "Then why'd you make me peel it?" Huilin answered very reasonably, "Saw you idle with nothing to do, so I gave you some work. Is that okay? Truly my own mother. I silently assessed in my heart. Turning to leave the kitchen, Huilan called me back. Hey, that girl you're dating. How are things between you two? The scene from yesterday afternoon's walk flashed through my mind. Holding her hand, I answered, very good. Huilan continued asking, so when are you planning to bring her home for dinner? I turned to look. Could clearly see the supreme leader cooking. Had a hint of tension. I answered honestly, I'm not sure about that yet. We haven't reached that point. I replied very sincerely. Huilan asked again, does she have any favorite dishes? Hearing this, I immediately understood. Mom was worried that, if one day I brought my girlfriend home unexpectedly, she wouldn't have time to prepare and would lose face. Mom wanted to host properly, not leave that girl with a bad impression. I looked into the kitchen. Saw Mom trying to act unconcerned. But actually nothing had changed. Since childhood, regarding my affairs, Huilan rarely asked. But that didn't mean she didn't care. Mom always silently observed. About the girlfriend I'd only mentioned once. Her mouth rarely spoke of it. But her heart was very concerned. I laughed. She's easy to feed. Not picky at all. Huilan turned around, lightly scolding. Who talks like that? I withdrew my smile, not understanding. What did I say wrong? Huilan seemed dissatisfied. Girls nowadays are all sensitive. Does that sound good? What if it makes her overthink? You need to watch your words more carefully. I thought again. Felt like nothing was really wrong. That way of speaking was like talking about a child. Sounding teasing. But to others, maybe it felt disrespectful. Just that with Sophia, it was just right. I didn't feel anything wrong. Huilan said sternly, did you hear clearly? I didn't argue, just answered, yes, I heard. Huilan continued instructing her son. From now on, think carefully before speaking. Girls have many thoughts you don't understand. On the surface, they seem fine. But inside they might already be upset. Hearing Mom's teaching, I said nothing more. Mom, I might not understand all girls. But you don't understand Sophia either. Mother and son chatted in the kitchen. I worked as an assistant following instructions. Today's vegetable quantity wasn't much, but very miscellaneous. Talking while cooking, slow and unhurried. Huilan buying these items had another purpose. Wanting to refresh faded cooking skills. Couldn't wait until water reached her feet to jump. Had to prepare in advance. Frying, stir-frying, cooking, steaming, boiling. Busy all morning. Chen Miaohao worked overtime today. Arriving home at mealtime, he saw the table full of dishes. Praised a few times. Then cautiously asked, do we have guests coming today? If not one family, don't enter one door. Just like my mom Huilan. Dad also loved me in his own way. After repeatedly confirming no one was coming today, he skeptically sat at the table. Seeing my parents on such high alert, I felt both warmed and amused. At this age, living like children, just because of a future daughter-in-law. Why so tense? When Sophia's psychology was more stable, I'd bring her home, so my parents wouldn't worry constantly. Just meeting once would be enough. Thinking this, I picked up chopsticks and bowl. Looking at the full table before me. If only she could eat with us too. Suddenly, I had an idea. Mom, can we pack some food? Huilan asked, pack for what? I said, my girlfriend hasn't eaten yet. We have plenty left over anyway, bring her some. So she doesn't have to cook. Just finished speaking. Dad withdrew his hand reaching for food. Huilan also stood up and went to the kitchen. I asked, Mom, where are you going? Mom said, Mom's making 2 more dishes. There's still half a chicken in the fridge. I hurriedly stopped her. No need. Just pack it simply. I remember the company gave out new lunchboxes. Pretty big ones. Dad muttered and went to find lunchboxes. I said, regular boxes are fine. She doesn't eat much anyway. Busy for a while. If I hadn't stopped them, my parents would have packed the entire table. 2 4-tier lunchboxes stuffed full. Even 2 Sophias couldn't finish it. I silently shook my head, using a bag to carefully pack the boxes. Sat down preparing to eat, but unexpectedly got pulled up by Mom. I said, Mom, what's wrong? I looked at the bowl and chopsticks. Then at my mother. Asked with lost confidence. I'm eating. What else? Isn't that obvious? Huilan, aren't you delivering the food? I answered, no rush. I can go after eating. While speaking, I tried to pick up food. But Mom took my chopsticks, putting them straight in the bag. Your portion's packed too. You'd let her wait? Go quickly. After saying that, Mom shoved the food bag into my hands. Dad also handed over car keys. Pushed by both, I was shoved out the door in a daze. Slam. The door shut. I'd still underestimated their vigilance level. Tense to this degree? Really too much. I felt a bit helpless. Walking downstairs, while taking out my phone to call Sophia. Honestly, eating now was still a bit early. My family always ate quite early. Related to my parents' work schedule habits. Before 11 a.m., food was already served. I'd planned to bring it over after eating. Timing would be just right. That was the original plan. But plans never kept up with reality. I'd only mentioned it once. And now it became like this. Lost in thought. The phone connected. Hello. Sophia's voice rang out, always carrying a touch of gentle sweetness. Very pleasant to hear. I asked, have you eaten? Sophia looked at the noodles just put in the pot. Honestly answering, not yet. I asked, are you free? I'm coming over. Sophia immediately answered, free. I'll come out right away. Following her habitual thinking, she thought I was coming to invite her to eat. I said, no need. I'm coming to your place. Sophia momentarily didn't understand. Thinking before reacting, she said somewhat awkwardly, I don't have anything to eat at home. Can't have you eat plain noodles with me. Even if you'd accept it. I couldn't bear it. I didn't beat around the bush either. Telling her the situation straight. That we'd cooked many dishes at home. And my parents told me to bring some over for her to eat together. Too much information. Sophia momentarily froze, forgetting to even respond. Most importantly, his parents already knew they were dating. She still didn't answer. I asked again, is your place convenient? Sophia immediately snapped back, so tense she stuttered. Convenient. I answered, okay then. I'm coming now. Sophia, I hung up, hand still holding the phone. Mind in chaos. Was he ready to introduce me to his parents? Even with me being like this? Chapter 26. Will you come again next time? I parked the car on the street, carrying things upstairs. This building was at the corner across from Riverside No. 2 Middle School's main gate. Quite old. Back in middle school, I'd often pass by here. A small 4-story building. A very common boarding house type. Before, I'd only seen the outside. Turns out today was the first time. I stepped into the hallway. Cool air enveloped me. The building sat right at a corner. Poor lighting, high humidity. Looking up, saw the ceiling paint peeling at the wall corners. Stairs lined with tiles. Several spots already cracked. Cracks like spider webs. Spreading across. The railing was standard stainless steel. Each floor had 4 rooms. Following Sophia's Instagram message, I found the innermost room on the 3rd floor. Just raising my hand to knock. The doorknob already turned. Heard a creaking sound. The door opened a crack. Sophia poked half her head out. After confirming it was me, she smiled and opened the door wider. You're here? I joked. Your hearing's really sharp. Could even hear footsteps. Sophia shook her head, smiling brightly back. I saw you through the window. Saying that, she stepped aside to let me in. I asked, need to change into slippers? Sophia answered, no need. After entering the room, she gently closed the door. This was a single rental room. Very small. Stepping in, there was a desk, a wardrobe on the side. The bed was deep inside. Outside the window hung some small wet clothes dripping. No kitchen. A tiny bathroom on one side. Door closed. The layout was very simple. Could see everything at a glance. But everything was clean and tidy. I placed the food bag on the table, looking for somewhere to sit. But there was only one plastic chair. Sophia quickly ran to get the chair for me, even wiping it with her hand. I wiped it, not dirty. I thought she minded the dirt and misunderstood. I felt a bit awkward. I asked, then where will you sit? Sophia froze. She hadn't thought of that. I can stand. She smiled awkwardly, fingers restlessly clutching her shirt hem. Flustered, not knowing what to do. I saw through that, but said nothing. I didn't sit down either. Just opened the lunchboxes while calling her over. My mom's cooking isn't bad. Not sure if you can eat it. While speaking, I took out 2 4-tier lunchboxes. Laying everything out, the small table became crowded. Fragrant aroma filled the air. Just opening the lids, the scent spread throughout the room. Still steaming hot, Sophia stepped closer, feeling somewhat surprised. Way too much. I said, try some. I handed her chopsticks and a lunchbox. Sophia took them, but still didn't eat right away. Just silently observing my expression. I sighed lightly inside, then picked up a lunchbox. Casually picking up a chicken drumstick. Taking a big bite and nodding repeatedly. Signaling her to eat quickly. Only then did Sophia dare to move her chopsticks. Trying some vegetables. I said, this is my mom's best dish. Really delicious. While speaking, I picked up a piece of tender braised beef and put it in her bowl. Sophia stammered, I can get my own. I paid no attention to what she said. This is also really good. Not sure if you'll like it. While speaking, I picked up a honey-glazed meatball for her. Continuously serving her several times. Telling her to try each dish. The two ate while chatting. Sophia ate in small bites. Occasionally sneaking glances at me. I maintained a slightly awkward demeanor. I asked, does it taste okay? My mom asked me to ask what you like best. Sophia looked at her rice bowl. Not knowing what she was thinking. She said softly, everything's good, I like it all. I smiled. If it's good, eat more. Sophia looked at the lunchbox. Not lifting her head to look at me. She asked in a small voice. You told your parents about us dating, right? Though a question. Her tone fell slightly, sounding more like confirmation than inquiry. I scratched my head. Sorry, I didn't ask your opinion first. My mom asked, so I just told her, didn't think much of it. Sophia quickly looked up, explaining immediately, no, I didn't mean that. Eyes meeting briefly. She lowered her head again. Fingers gripping chopsticks tightly, flustered. I just wanted to ask, your parents don't object? I smiled. What's there to object to? Sophia pressed her lips together. She said quietly, with my circumstances like this. Not knowing how to continue. Her heart seemed to fall to the bottom. I finished her sentence, saying slowly, beautiful. And such a good personality. What about circumstances like that? Hearing that, Sophia's shoulders trembled slightly. She tried looking up at me, wanting to see if I was just saying that. To comfort her. Eyes meeting. She only saw in my eyes purity and sincerity, not a trace of falsehood. She asked softly, do you really think so? I answered, there aren't that many real and fake things in this world. Eat before it gets cold. Then I picked up another chicken drumstick for her. The lunchbox had almost no space left. She quickly said, I can eat by myself. Though Sophia kept saying she could do it herself. I paid no attention. Just kept serving her dish after dish. Until Sophia was stuffed full. Just as I'd guessed, even with 2 people eating. The food mom packed was still too much. Only ate half. I asked, do you have a fridge? She nodded. Yes, the landlord left one. Sophia looked toward the corner of the room. I followed her gaze. Earlier I hadn't noticed. In the corner was a small refrigerator. On top sat a pot. A bit small, but probably enough space. I roughly estimated, then started clearing food. Let me help you put it in the fridge. Tomorrow just reheat it. Sophia hurriedly took over. I can do it. Looking like she was afraid I'd take the task away. I had to withdraw my hand, not competing anymore. While she cleaned up the lunchboxes, I walked over to the fridge. The fridge was knee-high. For such a small rental room, quite decent. Living alone, storing some leftover meal food was just right. I opened the fridge to look. Inside were only 2 apples. Empty. Just enough space for 2 lunchboxes to fill it. I closed the fridge. On top of the fridge sat a small pot. Lid still on, faintly warm. Didn't know what was inside. When Sophia finished cleaning up, she carried 2 lunchboxes to put in the fridge. Just turning around, she saw me. Staring at the pot used for cooking noodles. I lifted the glass lid. silently looking inside, noodles soaked until soft and mushy, falling apart. Sophia held the two lunchboxes, head lowered, standing behind me. For her, when I opened the pot lid, it wasn't just a pot lid. It was also the curtain concealing her difficult life. She could endure living like this, without resentment or complaint. But if it was in front of the person she liked, she really didn't want to be seen. Not even a little bit. I silently put the lid back on. Turning around, lost in thought, I didn't hear the movement behind me. Sophia stood there like a child who'd just done something wrong. Head down, silent. I smiled lightly. You cleaned up fast. Then continued, remember to refrigerate it properly. Finish it tomorrow, or it'll spoil. This time, my smile couldn't spread to her like usual. She just kept her head down, silent. Don't know why, but a tear fell. Drip. Landing on the lunchbox lid. Even she was startled, not knowing when the tears had started. Hurriedly using her sleeve to wipe the lid. Wiping away that tear. Here. Don't know when I'd moved in front of her. I extended my hand. Sophia said quietly, I can put it away myself. Her voice choked, nasal. I smiled gently. Wipe your face first. I can put it away. I deliberately spoke softly, not mentioning anything again. Sophia lightly brushed with the back of her hand. Only then did she clearly feel her face covered in messy tear tracks. Not just one drop on the lunchbox. She embarrassedly handed me the box. When I turned my back, she immediately used her palm to wipe the tears from her face. I deliberately slowed my movements, giving her more time. When I stood and turned back, the girl's mood still hadn't improved. She turned away, occasionally still secretly wiping tears. Now wasn't the time for comfort. In circumstances like these, all comfort felt like charity, carrying a condescending feeling. Besides, crying wasn't bad. Sometimes crying was good, just needed to give her some time and quiet space. I said, nothing else, I'll head back first. Have some things to do. While speaking, I walked to the door. Sophia ran to open it for me. I said, no need to see me out. Rest a bit. Looking at the girl before me, tears still full, still trying to see me off. I felt my heart in turmoil. Goodbye. I waved lightly, then turned to leave. Just a few steps away, a voice called from behind. Will you come again next time? Voice carrying a sob. I couldn't bear to turn back. Just answered with my back to her. Depends if you want me to come again. I'm leaving, you rest. After saying that, I quickly walked down the stairs. Leaving the hallway, Sophia leaned against the doorframe, standing still, looking at the empty hallway. Tears still on her chin, but lips smiling. So good, he still wants to come. Chapter 27. Love confirmed many times. Driving home, I kept thinking about what I saw in that rental room. Not just the pot of mushy noodles, but a miniature image of Sophia's life all these years. Just thinking of her alone, in that rental room silently eating plain noodles, day after day. Honestly, I felt very uncomfortable. When you love someone, you not only don't want them to see you struggle, but also don't want to see them suffer. Either way, your heart will ache. I opened the door home. My parents were on the balcony, tending two newly bought flower pots. Hearing movement in the hallway, both turned to see me back. Mom asked, how was it? I snapped back to attention, reacting a beat slow to Mom's question. I answered, oh. She said everything was delicious. Mom breathed a sigh of relief. I seized the chance to add praise. Mom cooks at 5-star hotel level. Who could complain? Mom outwardly said I was flattering, but inside was clearly pleased. She told me to help plant flowers, then went to get things from the washing machine. Today was sunny, perfect for hanging bedding to dry. Leaving the balcony to father and son, I helped pour soil into the pots. Dad stood beside me, adjusting the newly bought watering can. He said, dating is your business. If she's good to you, then you must cherish her. But if she's not good, no need to force it to continue. Dad spoke like chatting casually. You kids nowadays have some term. What is it? Simp, right? Anyway, don't be a simp. And definitely don't be heartless either. I looked at Dad curiously. Where'd you learn that term? Chen Miaohao said at the company. He overheard some girls chatting. Heard about some guy who's exactly that type of simp. Can't escape no matter what he does. Listening to it was exhausting. I nodded. People like that really are annoying. Not only bothering the girl, but having no self-respect. Dad continued. But I'm not worried you're a simp. I'm just afraid you'll be heartless. I wasn't pleased. Dad, am I that untrustworthy? Dad answered, others don't understand you. But you think I don't? On the outside, you're definitely steady. But inside you're full of schemes. No one understands you better than Dad. I felt uneasy and lowered my eyes. Dad continued. In the end, dating is just a matter of conscience. You understand, right? Oh, and how does she treat you? The question came so suddenly. I paused. How does she treat me? Clearly in such circumstances. Still unwilling to spend my money. Always wanting to treat me. Rather eating plain noodles herself for several meals. To save the best she could for me. A heart like that. Practically giving her whole heart. I smiled. She treats me very well. Dad nodded. Good is enough. Don't let her down either. And also, he paused. Then continued. Dad knows you kids nowadays date pretty openly. Anyway, remember to be safe. Oh right, what about that car you said you're buying? I answered, all settled. Dad asked, what car? I replied, a Nissan Sylphy Classic. The emotional education topic ended there, shifting to everyday matters. I planted. Dad watered. Mom hung bedding beside us. Life doesn't have that many great storms. Most accumulate from small things. When afternoon nap time came, my parents went to their room. I sat in my room, opened my computer to fill out forms. Unexpectedly received a message from my superior at headquarters, saying I needed to fill out some documents to submit for work subsidy applications. The documents weren't hard, just many. Took some time. While filling forms, we chatted. My boss and I had a good relationship. He was working overtime alone at headquarters and bored. So while having me fill forms, he chatted to avoid boredom, asking if I was adapting to life here. Finishing everything took over an hour. Mainly because we kept talking. Concluded by arranging to gather when I returned. Ending the call, I lay on the bed to rest briefly. This weekend, originally, I'd planned to take Sophia somewhere. Seeing her always so heavy and gloomy. Wanting to help her relax. But this silly girl kept everything inside, trying to digest it herself, but lacking that ability. The result was everything just getting worse. Silly to the point of anger. Now even wanting to take her out wasn't possible. She hadn't even overcome this herself. I felt both heartache and some anger. From yesterday until now, she hadn't proactively messaged me at all. Probably sitting in her rental room crying now. Crying was fine. Also the fastest way for her to release current emotions. Afternoon, Dad still hadn't returned. I told Mom I wouldn't eat dinner at home and went out. Since learning I was seeing my girlfriend in the afternoons, Mom didn't ask anything more. Not interfering in dating matters at all. I left home. Scanned to rent an e-bike downstairs. Riding to the rental, carrying some irritation. Also forgot to message the silly girl first. After locking the bike, I called. The other end answered immediately. Hello. I asked. Hello what? Come down to eat now. My voice clearly unhappy. Sophia didn't ask more. Just opened with an apology. Sorry. I'm coming down now. Not long after hanging up, she ran out from the hallway. Approaching me. Sorry for making you wait. She anxiously apologized again. I suddenly realized. My bit of anger had frightened her. I silently took a breath. Steadying my emotions, I extended my hand, giving her a decisive command. Sophia didn't hesitate. She immediately placed her hand for me to grasp. I held her hand. My tone also softened considerably. What do you want to eat? Sophia, I'll follow you completely. Here we go again. That fearful tone. Though very obedient, it inexplicably made people frustrated. Sophia Hayes, you can have your own opinions. Your own thoughts. You can speak up. Don't worry, I won't love you. Why do you doubt that I love you? I couldn't help frowning. Sophia didn't understand what was happening. Seeing me frown, She instinctively lowered her head, trembling slightly. Seeing her like that, I relaxed my brow, suddenly finding myself somewhat ridiculous. Why was I making things difficult for her? More precisely, I wasn't actually angry at her. I was angry at myself. Angry I couldn't do anything useful for her. I looked at her, suddenly calling her name. Sophia looked up at me, eyes looking straight at me. I suddenly said, "Vy. I love you," speaking directly. Sophia froze. Her eyes involuntarily widened slightly. My gaze on her was both firm and intense. She couldn't quite handle it, not yet avoiding my eyes when I continued asking, "Do you love me?" "Sophia, I love you too." She was so tense she stuttered, not knowing why I'd suddenly say these things. But this was the first time she'd tried to say such words. She was very shy. I sighed lightly. "You're lying." I let the words fall. Sophia immediately panicked. "I'm not lying. I like you." I cut her off. "I mean, you don't believe I love you." Sophia froze, immediately falling silent. She didn't know if she believed it or not, but truly feared that one day I'd stop loving her. Looking at the flustered girl before me, I knew I'd hit upon her thoughts. Honestly, guessing thoughts like that gave no sense of accomplishment at all. On the contrary, felt a bit sad. I asked, "Can I kiss you?" "Huh?" Sophia stared at me blankly. She suspected she'd misheard. Seeing no reaction from her, I boldly moved closer, bending down slightly, getting closer and closer, feeling the burning breath from her. Sophia just let me approach. Let my soft lips touch lightly like a dragonfly on water against her cheek. After kissing, I slowly straightened up, eyes meeting, both breathing unevenly. A light breeze passed, the wind caressing our hearts. The wet spot on her cheek felt slightly cool, but her face burned hot. I truly had no other way. I looked straight into her eyes. Vy. Sophia's gaze couldn't leave me anymore. Held by my look, she softly responded, like a small creature whimpering. I said, "I don't know what to do to make you believe I truly love you." But, Vy. That afternoon was probably the hottest autumn day in Riverside. The sun refused to set. Like returning to midsummer. Two people standing beneath the rental talking. Most of what was said that day, I no longer remember clearly. Sophia seemed lost in a dream. After eating, didn't know how she got home. Even at night, she could still feel the cool kiss mark on her cheek. But inside her heart burned. Time could blur all memories. Sophia always thought, even if one day, time took away all her memories, the last thing to be erased would surely be Ethan Carter's words that day, when I said those words to her. Though mid-autumn, her heart felt like radiant midsummer. Eyes meeting, my gentle voice. "I don't know what to do to make you believe I love you. But Vy, I love you. You can ask me as many times as you want. Forever." Chapter 28. Listen to your boyfriend. Sunday. Yesterday we bought lots of food, so this morning didn't need to go to the market. I naively thought I could sleep in. But before 8 a.m., I was called up to drink soy milk. My parents just bought a new soy milk maker. Didn't calculate the soy amount well. Made too much, so called me up to help finish it. After breakfast, the two wouldn't sit still, inviting each other to walk in the park. I drank 2 large bowls of soy milk, stuffed full, washed the soy milk maker clean, then crawled back into bed, wanting to catch up on sleep. Lying in bed, I kept thinking, couldn't understand. If the soy milk couldn't be finished, just leave it. Why must they wake me to drink it all? Tossing and turning, drowsiness completely vanished. I opened Instagram, tapping Sophia's profile picture. Wonder if she was awake yet. Not thinking much, I messaged directly. "Hey." Her side was the familiar near instant response. "I'm here." Though just 2 simple words. I could imagine her serious, slightly silly demeanor replying. Truly couldn't help smiling. We messaged back and forth a while. I reminded her to reheat and eat the food in the fridge, saying I wouldn't come over this morning. Tomorrow was Monday. I still had work to handle at the company. Though this branch's work pressure wasn't as heavy as headquarters, that was still relative. Working for money was never easy. These days, what industry wasn't fiercely competitive? Especially in the big game production industry like mine. That feeling was clearer than ever. Thinking back to time at headquarters. All kinds of performance metrics. All kinds of tasks to complete. Always in 24-hour standby mode. Some nights at 3 or 4 a.m., I'd jump up to fix code. Everything that needed experiencing, I'd experienced. Since starting work, I'd developed another condition, insomnia. My insomnia wasn't like normal people's. It was the result of living long-term in high-pressure environments and prolonged anxiety. When night fell, preparing to sleep, countless sounds like electrical buzzing appeared in my head. The ringing in my head was very severe. Almost every night I had to force myself to sleep through that electrical sound. Sometimes the ringing was too strong. Eyelids exhausted, closed until morning but still couldn't sleep. Just had to drag my tired body to work. I'd also gone to see doctors. The doctor prescribed some medications, telling me to ensure sufficient sleep time. Pay attention to resting more. Reduce tension, don't let anxiety dominate. Who doesn't know sleep deprivation? Irregular eating, stress, worrying about work or performance. All bad for health? But it's work. Knowing work isn't good for you. What can you do? How many people don't have to work? Saying, let go, sounds easy. But when burdens press on your shoulders, how many people can truly be carefree? Everyone understands those simple truths. But life always needs someone to shoulder it. If no one shoulders it for you, you can only stand up yourself. No other way. Who isn't trading health for money? Just to keep living. Even many people can't even trade their lives for money. I had nothing to complain about. Insomnia? So be it. Heavy head ringing? Just endure it. It's fine. Now much better than before. At home, mom manages my eating. Work pressure at the branch is lighter than before. Life may be hard, may be bitter. But don't let that suffering cloud your eyes. Don't deny there are still good things in life. Still things worth pursuing. A clear blue sky. A flower in full bloom. A gentle drizzle. A person you want to see. Recognizing life's truth yet still loving it as before. Loving life as if loving death itself. Living toward the light despite knowing you may wither. Though life has never loved me, I'll still try to learn to love it. Never giving up, perhaps precisely because of this attitude toward life. I've overcome time and time again. And until now, can still live peacefully like this. The luckiest thing is, in my heart now, there's someone. The person I want to love my whole life. I put down my phone, opened the computer, and started working. In the morning, when mom cooked, I went to the kitchen to help. Dad bought some small fish. Fussing with the fish tank, preparing to try raising them. In the afternoon, I told my parents I was going out. They knew what I was thinking, so didn't ask more. Before I left, Dad held car keys in his hand, asking if I needed the car. I said it wasn't far, no need. Just 2 blocks away. I rode a shared e-bike to the rental area. From afar, I saw Sophia standing by the road. Didn't I say I'd message when I arrived? Why are you standing out here waiting? I parked the bike, walking toward her. Sophia smiled at me, a hint of shyness on her face. Did you miss me? A statement so direct it embarrassed even the listener. Sophia, that girl once had youthful shyness. Looking at her flushed face. And silly smile for me. I laughed. Why are you getting sillier every day? I said, being told that. Sophia didn't mind. Just tilted her head smiling at me. I said, follow orders. Sophia obediently placed her hand in my palm, letting me grasp it, following my every step, walking and talking. I asked, what do you want to eat? Though knowing asking was pointless, I still couldn't help asking for form's sake. Sophia, I'll follow you. Sure enough, the expected answer. These past days, I'd taken Sophia to eat at all the shops around her school. Now starting a new round, special braised pork rice. In the restaurant, we sat in the corner. Sophia sat against the wall. I sat on the outside. We sat side by side, watching her eat happily, face full of joy. I involuntarily felt my heart soften. Truly a girl easily made happy. I remembered when I first worked at headquarters, meeting a very picky team leader. Bubble tea costing tens of thousands. Meals over 100,000 with dessert. Eating a few bites, complaining it was bad, then tossing it. Lost in thought. She handed me something. This is for you. I can't finish. Sophia said quietly, picking up the fried egg and remaining braised pork. Placing it all in my bowl. Leaving only one piece of potato pancake. Perhaps that was her final stand. Watching the girl find reasons to serve me food. I found her adorable. Deliberately teasing her. But I prefer potato pancakes. Oh. From this angle, couldn't see her face clearly. But I could sense that silly girl starting to hesitate. Inside, I chuckled. But when eating, just eat properly. Won't tease her anymore. Just about to say never mind. Sophia only hesitated a few seconds. Then picked up the potato pancake and placed it in my bowl. In her bowl remained only white rice and some vegetables. She turned to smile at me. A smile without the slightest reluctance. Silly to the point of heartbreak. Seeing her about to eat plain rice and vegetables. I put both potato pancakes back in her bowl. Sophia was a bit flustered. You eat it. I said, how can you eat plain rice? I was just teasing you. Sophia protested quietly. I have food, it's not just plain rice. This is even better than plain noodles. I think it's enough. I shook my head. I'm your boyfriend. At least in small matters like this, listen to me, okay? Hearing those 3 words, your boyfriend, unintentionally, in Sophia's heart, it felt like a feather lightly brushing past. Ticklish, tingling. She suddenly felt shy, softly answering, I'll listen to you, as your girlfriend. Chapter 29. Response. Love needs someone to take initiative. In love, there must always be someone more proactive. And that person was me. During meals, I also led the conversation. Eating while talking. The atmosphere was very relaxed. The restaurant wasn't crowded either. Sophia was no longer tense or afraid like before. We ate very slowly. Lately, darkness fell earlier. After eating, leaving the restaurant. The sky was already deep blue. Stars twinkling. Street lamps along both sides were lit. Boarding high school students. All had to return to school Sunday evening. The area around Riverside High School became lively. Each night market stall had students in blue and white uniforms gathered, chatting and laughing, full of youthful vitality. I bought 2 coconut waters, deliberately adding extra coconut jelly. Then walked with her after dinner. I strolled slowly along the sidewalk. Suddenly I turned to say, switch to your other hand. Huh? Sophia looked over, seeing my gaze, resting on the coconut water in her hand. Though not understanding what I planned, she obediently switched hands. I immediately grasped her hand. So that's what he wanted, to hold hands. Sophia silently lowered her eyes. Though not the first time holding hands. Being asked so directly by me still made her heart race. She seemed to like being commanded like that. Sophia secretly noticed my hand. My hand clearly wasn't just simply grasping, but also moving gently. I used my fingers to stroke her palm lightly. Each strong finger skillfully separated her tiny finger gaps, interlacing to the very end. Finally, 10 fingers interlaced tightly, feeling the warmth from my hand. Sophia's cheeks gradually flushed. She moved a bit closer to me, shoulders lightly touching. Neither said anything, just silently walking. Sophia really liked this feeling. Even without talking, the atmosphere remained light and pleasant. Not heavy or awkward at all. If walking beside someone else, not knowing what to say, she'd think it was her fault. Couldn't help worrying if she'd done something wrong. But that was long ago. Now she didn't even have courage to walk beside anyone. Thinking this, Sophia's gaze gradually dimmed. Suddenly, a vague fear tore through her heart. Then spreading like a burst dam. Fear surged like a tide, quickly submerging her, making her feel suffocated, powerless. Her body started trembling uncontrollably. I immediately noticed the abnormality beside me. I glanced at Sophia. She kept her head down, exuding indescribable fragility. What's wrong? I slowed down, asking gently. Sophia looked up, forcing a strained smile. Nothing. She knew clearly what was wrong. Didn't know when it started. Perhaps when working far away. Being inappropriately touched by the boss. Or maybe when the boss's wife deliberately caused trouble. Even once burning her hair with a lighter. Or maybe when in the factory dorm. Drunk men pounding on the door at midnight. Since then, whenever she paid too much attention to others, the fear inside her magnified uncontrollably. Emotions were very mysterious things. Some people think it's just emotions. Just think more positively. But actually, it's not like that. Excessive tension makes hands and feet go cold. Confused, not knowing what to do. Even wanting to vomit. Excessive sadness makes people lose interest in everything. Not wanting to do anything. Even living becomes undesirable. Being too agitated makes one hot-tempered and impulsive. One provocative word and wanting to hit someone, not thinking of consequences. People like that aren't causing trouble from boredom, nor deliberately putting on an act. They don't want to be controlled by emotions. It's just that they've lost the ability to control emotions. Can't self-regulate. If they could easily control it, who would want to live like that? Very uncomfortable, not a joke. Right now, Sophia was exactly like that. The vague fear pressed down like a boulder. She didn't know what to do. Alone in her rental room. She could curl up under the blanket trembling, enduring until it passed. But out on the street like this, in front of me like this, Sophia could only desperately hide it, not wanting me to see. Her other hand clenched into a fist, nails digging into her flesh. She still forced a smile at me, trying to say, "I'm fine." But her lips were trembling. A few days ago, though she still feared strangers, she was okay. Why this sudden episode today? Emotions pressed down like a boulder, making me momentarily not know what to do. She wanted to hide, to run somewhere with no one. Wait until normal again before appearing. Pretending nothing happened, continuing beside me like a normal person. I'd already tried imagining her psychological condition, in the worst direction, but still underestimated it, looking at her pale lips. I couldn't process what was happening. I only knew to worry. "Do you feel unwell somewhere?" Sophia let go of my hand, our interlaced fingers separating. She said, I want to go home." Don't know if it was an illusion, but I saw in her eyes only shattered pleading. Her whole being like a mirror. Someone had struck hard right in the center, shattering into heartbreaking cracks. Only then did I realize her psychological disorder was acting up. I didn't dare ask more. Just following along. "Then let me take you home." Sophia shook her head. "I can get home myself." Her voice trembled so much even the sentence's end quivered. Gaze avoiding. I clearly sensed the fear in her. I wanted to move a bit closer, to give her some security. But her half-step backward made me stop, abandoning that naive intention. Security wasn't just hugging someone tight and saying, "Don't be scared," to make things better. It wasn't that simple. I didn't dare act thoughtlessly. Just stood still watching her. "Then go home yourself. When you get there, remember to message me." Sophia nodded while hurrying away. I stood under the streetlight, watching her figure grow more distant, until completely out of sight. The rental room was pitch dark. Sophia sat with knees drawn up on the bed's edge, crying until her whole body shook. The uncontrollable emotions inside finally settled down. She'd never hated herself this much. A message notification sounded. The phone screen blazed bright in the darkness. She grabbed it, crying while wiping tears, trying to see clearly. I'd sent a message. "Feeling better?" Seeing the content, Sophia's heart felt half frozen. She'd tried so hard to hide it, but still couldn't fool me. Felt like the next sentence I'd say was, "Break up." Terrible living conditions, such strange behavior. Who would want to love someone like that? Clearly never having had me. Yet she already feared the feeling of losing me. Thinking this, Sophia buried her face in her arms, shoulders trembling from crying. Another message notification sounded. She sobbed while looking up, not daring to look, trembling fingers unlocking the screen. After unlocking, she stared at the chat window. Eyes blurred from tears. Those troublesome tears fell again. She raised her hand to wipe them away firmly, then looked again. After looking carefully, she froze for seconds. Then suddenly jumped up, not even putting on shoes, running straight out barefoot. At that moment, I was standing at the roadside, looking up at That dark third-floor room. Lights not on. Messages not answered either. Could she have gone straight to sleep after returning? Impossible. Should I go check? I looked down at my phone screen again. The last message was still mine. If you're feeling better, come down so I can see you for a bit, okay? I'm really worried about you. Maybe should still go check. Her condition made me unable to feel at ease. I turned off the screen, stuffing the phone in my pocket. Striding quickly toward the stairs. Suddenly, movement echoed in the hallway. Sophia frantically ran out from there. Seeing me in the distance, she immediately rushed over, crashing into my chest. I stood frozen. This silly girl. Why'd she run out like this? Barefoot, wearing nothing on her feet. Just arriving, she hugged me tight. Sorry, really sorry. I'm trying to change. Give me a bit more time, please. I didn't understand what she was saying. My eyebrows trembled slightly, as if enduring some great grievance. She pressed her head against my chest, sobbing, crying while continuously apologizing. I'd never seen her like this before either. Could only comfort like soothing a child. One hand I placed behind her head, the other gently patting her back, softly saying, don't cry anymore. It's okay now, it's okay. One person apologizing, one person comforting. A long while later, her crying gradually turned to soft sobs. She hiccuped while looking up at me. I'll change. Don't leave me. From crying too much, her voice was hoarse. Now, she couldn't even speak a complete sentence properly. Looking at the small girl in my arms, crying while clutching me, refusing to let go. I felt both pity and amusement. I took tissues to wipe her tears. I never said I'd leave you. But you yourself think you're terrible. That's not your fault. It's okay. I'll always be beside you. Sophia looked into my eyes, hiccuping while letting me wipe her tears away. I once said I love you. You can confirm that as many times as you want. Sophia whispered, then do you still love me? I just smiled at her, not answering. I moved my arms around, embracing her waist and back, pulling her into my arms. Sophia's tears flowed again, but this time not from heartache and choking. Tears falling very quietly, gentle as tonight's breeze. I rested my chin on her shoulder, forehead gently rubbing against her chin. Under the old, slightly flickering streetlight, I whispered. I heard it very clearly. Chapter 30. When Sophia's psychological issues acted up, she feared everything, except me. She ran away, because she feared I'd see that terrible side of her. Feared I'd be scared off. After yesterday's episode passed, Sophia thought this relationship would surely end. She understood clearly she had too many problems. Terrible living conditions, serious psychological issues, even an inglorious past, surviving through questionable work. In this relationship, she always felt insecure. She hid these things to begin with me, knowing it wasn't fair to me, also feeling guilty toward me. Sophia was terrified of being exposed, so tried hard to hide. But the more you fear something, the easier it happens. Paper can't wrap fire. In just 1 week, I'd witnessed her difficult living conditions. Witnessed the entire process of her psychological episode. Last night, by the roadside, we held each other for a long time. I told her, it's okay. I'll be beside you. For Sophia, these words carried more weight than even, I love you. Loving someone is easy. Continuing to love is the hardest part. I could always use the most appropriate way to respond to her insecurity. I'd never criticized her. My very acceptance was the reason she continued loving. She could only respond with a sincere heart. Monday morning. Beneath the rental building, Sophia stood by the road. Riverside High School was right across the street. From here could hear the broadcast in the schoolyard. Probably morning exercises. I remembered when I was in school. The school had very strict rules. When gathering for morning exercises, everyone had to carry a small notebook to demonstrate the spirit of learning, seizing every second. But actually, everyone knew inside, just for show to make the school look good. Whether students were excellent or poor didn't differ in those few seconds. Not running seriously was the first bad habit. The school taught students superficial, just going through the motions. Back then, I was very bothered by that bad habit. stubbornly wanting to resist to the end. I'd deliberately not bring the notebook, breaking the rules. If teachers scolded me, I'd argue back. Once was even labeled as defying teachers. Parents called in. If not for my grades always staying in the class top 5, I'd have been punished more severely. Sophia feared I'd get in trouble. So every morning exercise, she'd bring 2 notebooks, slipping me one when inspections came. I'd even gotten angry at her over that. Lost in thought, a shared e-bike bell rang, pulling me from reminiscence. I tilted my head, seeing a familiar figure. My eyes immediately brightened. Last night after hugging by the roadside, we talked for a long time. Before parting, I'd even gone up to her place, bringing down the washed lunchboxes to return. I said tomorrow morning I'd go to work, passing through here, wanting her to come down so I could see her. Otherwise I wouldn't feel at ease. More than an appointment, it was like a command. Sophia was very obedient, always listening to me. And she really liked listening to me. Being commanded by me, managed by me was truly happiness. I looked at the girl smiling at me so gently. I rode up in front of her, stopping. What were you thinking? From afar I saw you spacing out. Sophia said, I was thinking about you. Such a direct answer. If not for knowing her well, knowing she was sincere, I really would have suspected she was deliberately saying that to make me happy. Knowing it was true, I still couldn't help teasing. Sweet talking like this. Are you trying to fool me? Sophia hurriedly shook her head. No, I really was thinking about you. Watching this silly girl hurriedly explain. I secretly laughed inside. I continued teasing, really? I don't believe you. Sophia didn't know how to prove it either. Gaze flustered. I reached toward her. Come here and hug me, then I'll believe you. Sophia obediently stepped closer, hugging me. I greedily held her a bit longer, arms around her waist, feeling her soft, warm body. Just one hug last night and I was already addicted. You'll be late for work now, Sophia reminded quietly, a bit shy. I squeezed lightly before letting her go, taking the soy milk hanging on the handlebars, and bag of steamed buns to give her. Brought from home. Eat while it's hot. I'm going now. Goodbye. I waved to her, then rode the e-bike away. Sophia stood dazed watching my retreating figure. A moment later she came to her senses. Showing a gentle smile, she raised her hand to her chest, waving lightly. Be careful on the road. At Riverside Network Technology Company. Sophie Chen listlessly walked out of the parking lot. This weekend, she'd investigated Ethan Carter's background, asking several well-informed friends, but hadn't dug up anything. Until this morning while eating breakfast, a friend from headquarters messaged, saying she'd investigated. Turns out he really was sent by headquarters for training. Not to mention other things. Just the monthly salary, not counting bonuses, was enough to make her re-examine herself, checking if she'd done anything improper in front of him. Left any bad impressions. Sophie Chen was very puzzled. Normally she was quite accurate reading people. Don't know why this time she'd misjudged so badly. If not for accidentally seeing his work account, she'd have really missed the opportunity. Too dangerous. A young person with money, little social experience, never loved anyone, always just buried in work. Letting him slip away would be such a waste. Fortunately, just from one extra glance, felt no different from hitting the lottery. Sophie Chen's lips curved up uncontrollably. She seemed to foresee the scene. He'd spend money on her, dote on her completely. A man like that was best to catch. Thinking this, Sophie Chen looked up. First she saw the shared e-bike across the street. Then saw Ethan Carter locking the bike. Since learning his salary, the more she looked, the more attractive he seemed. Riding an e-bike? So what? Nothing wrong with that. Persisting in biking to work every day. Consider it physical exercise. Definitely very healthy. I finished locking the bike, crossing the street into the company. Morning, team leader. A clear voice rang beside me. I looked over. Sophie Chen approached with a cute, playful manner. Wearing a pretty dress, whole being radiating vitality. Good morning, I responded with a polite smile. Being energetic was good, but too many small gestures. Trying hard to display cuteness in a forced way Awkward to the point the fakeness showed clearly. I showed no attitude, just silently observed all those actions. Sophie Chen was like this with everyone. That was her way of communicating. The purpose was just to create an impression of being cute and lively, making others more sympathetic toward her. I didn't mind. Didn't find it off-putting either. But right after, Sophie Chen boldly moved closer to me. I just saw you arrive on a shared e-bike, right? Is it for physical exercise? She spoke while flipping her hair suggestively, standing right where the wind blew, letting the shampoo scent from her hair spread. At first glance seemed natural, but actually every movement was carefully arranged. I frowned slightly. What I did was my business. But clearly she was targeting me. I pretended to be serious, answering stiffly, no. Just that I don't have a car. Sophie Chen laughed inwardly. Still pretending? With that salary, how could you not afford a car? Sophie Chen smiled, changing approaches to win me over. Who doesn't have a car eventually? Persisting in exercising every day is very admirable. I deflated her again. No. Just that my bike pass is about to expire. Sophie Chen's lips twitched. Couldn't she see this was obviously trying to win favor? Truly a block of wood. She moved closer. Team leader. Have you had breakfast? My treat. I cut her off. Already ate at home. Oh right, that report from last week. You made it, right? There are several places I need to discuss with you. Just mentioning work. Sophie Chen's face fell. If this were last week, by now she'd have found an excuse to slip away. But now Sophie Chen pretended to be pitiful. Team leader. Sorry, there are some parts one really don't understand well. If you're free, could you teach me? I acted as if I didn't see that feigned weakness, not giving her too much room to wiggle. If you don't know, practice more. Must have the right work attitude. Those charts, you need to spend more time relearning them. The format's all wrong. I had such trouble processing it. Sophie Chen sighed in exasperation. Knowing this, why even try to ingratiate earlier? She wanted to accidentally touch me. She'd always used this trick. Awakening desire in men's hearts. Rarely failed. Yet with me, it didn't work at all. All work talk. Best to just hug reports and talk about them in the evening too. Fire smoldered in Sophie Chen's heart. But she could do nothing. Just stepping into the company, already scolded by me. This Ethan Carter really could go on endlessly. Scolding without repeating a single sentence. Just a report. Worth scolding this much? Starting with work attitude. In a blink, I dragged it all the way to affecting the company's future. Didn't understand how I connected things. Sophie Chen was scolded to the second floor. Couldn't take it anymore. Immediately finding an excuse to go to the bathroom. In the restroom, Sophie Chen looked in the mirror above the sink. She realized she'd been wrong. Someone whose head was full of work. Who understood nothing about romance like Ethan Carter. How could she possibly flirt with him at the company? If wanting to seduce that type of blockhead man, must go outside, away from the work environment. Choosing a place with romantic atmosphere. When that time comes, won't need to use many tricks. Just pretend to be a bit innocent, hot and cold, saying a few lines like, team leader. You'll treat me well in the future, right? Guys with dumb brains like that are easiest to seduce. Just thinking about it made her laugh endlessly. What are you laughing at? Zhao Qian's voice rang from behind, eyes viewing her suspiciously. Just stepping into the restroom, already seeing Sophie Chen laughing at herself in the mirror. Good thing it was daytime. If seeing this scene at night, would be scared to death. No, nothing. Sophie Chen awkwardly withdrew her smile, greeting casually a few times, then quickly left. Zhao Qian felt a chill inside, thinking she should go to the temple this weekend for a protection charm. Chapter 31. The Strange Girl in a Hoodie. Past 1 p.m. At this time, whether spring, summer, fall or winter, Riverside City was always very hot. Scorching sun. Almost no one wanted to go out. Even cars on the road were sparse. Sophia walked along the shaded roadside. Seeing someone approaching from afar, she immediately lowered her head, trying to keep distance. Starting last week, every day at this hour she'd go out. Not for any special reason. Just wanting to find work. Had to keep living. Had to keep dating too. Always spending Ethan Carter's money wasn't right. Her heart wasn't at ease. Since deciding she had to keep living, finding a new income source was most important to her. She couldn't be like before. Couldn't rely on filming suggestive clips for money. Back then was because her mental state had problems. Plus debt pressure with no way out. I started filming suggestive videos thinking after paying debts I'd die. Actually, by today's social standards, filming suggestive videos wasn't that big a deal. Some people filming such videos attracted tons of fans and even felt proud. Even bragging to others. Others looked down on it. Cursing harshly. Using vicious words to criticize. Those who cursed kept cursing. Those who filmed kept filming. And viewers didn't miss a single one. As long as not breaking the law, not disrupting social order, then no one was wrong. Getting off topic here, Sophia was actually quite traditional and conservative, but not to the point of thinking she was always right. She didn't think people filming suggestive videos were hateful, nor did she think those placing themselves on moral high ground, criticizing others every day, were right either. How others were, she didn't care too much. She just couldn't accept filming such videos for other men to watch, while still deserving genuine good treatment from the person she loved. Conscience wouldn't allow it. Hiding the past to start fresh with Ethan Carter. Sophia knew clearly that was self-deception. But she still wanted to deceive herself once. Because of that, trying to keep living. She also really wanted to repay me. But currently she herself was struggling. Even meal money had to rely on my support. Finding a new income source was urgent. Initially, Sophia still held wishful thinking, searching for jobs not requiring going out. Even if exhausting and tiring, that was fine. Even if longer hours, she'd endure. Even if low pay, no problem. As long as not having to go out. But looking around, all were the same scam traps she'd already fallen into before. Not a single one truly trustworthy. So she started stepping out of the room, choosing the hottest time to go. Because then there'd be fewer people on the streets. When going out with Ethan Carter, she could dress normally, trying to control fear, appearing fine. But going out alone, she couldn't do it. Her true nature showed clearly. Weather like this, yet she still wore a long-sleeved hoodie and long jeans, wrapping herself completely. Though her constitution sweated little, her underwear was still slightly damp. Bangs on both sides stuck to her face. Very uncomfortable. Just seeing someone from afar, she'd panic and avoid, trying to stay far from others. At Fengyuan supermarket, Zhang Shufang was arranging merchandise. She glanced over, again saw that strange girl wearing a hoodie in the blazing heat, lurking around the store entrance. She silently paid attention, while continuing to arrange goods. Must be nearly a week now, right? Every day at this hour. That girl appeared at the store entrance. But didn't step inside, not to mooch Wi-Fi, not to escape the heat either. Just lingering by the door. Whenever she looked over, the girl would avoid. Really strange. This small supermarket was Zhang Shufang's own. Small scale, mainly selling cigarettes, alcohol and some groceries. Recently, the only employee in the store said he wanted to go home to marry. So quit immediately. The hiring notice posted forever with no one asking. Recruiting but still no one hired. So only she was watching the store alone. Encountering strange things like this. Honestly, she was a bit scared too. Worried maybe it was someone scouting the store. Lately, every time closing, she had to check locks and cameras carefully. Actually, this supermarket, she didn't need to keep open. Her daughter had a job. Very filial too. High salary. She could completely rest and enjoy retirement. But wasn't used to sitting idle. Before, she'd planned to hire 2 or 3 people to manage this store, while she'd go to the market and cook daily, stopping by the store when free. Living like that would be pleasant too. Thinking about it was nice, but this store was originally a small supermarket surviving on familiar neighbors. No significant profit at all. The recruitment salary she offered was very low. Though work was light, working hours were long, so no one wanted to do it. No one to help. Zhang Shufang was getting old. handling everything alone from stocking to cashiering. Even cleaning by herself was a bit exhausting. Tiring yet gaining nothing. Lately she'd started thinking whether to close the store. But actually closing it. This store open for so many years, she couldn't bear to. She was listlessly thinking when, "Excuse me," a tiny voice suddenly rang behind her. She reflexively jumped in fright. Turning to look, it was that strange girl in the hoodie. Don't know when she'd arrived. Hadn't heard any footsteps at all. Zhang Shufang smiled, asking what she wanted to buy. This was the first time in so many days. Seeing her face up close. Looked young and pretty. A girl seeming very delicate. But gave people a very strange feeling. Eyes avoiding. Expression tense to the point of weakness. "Excuse me, is the store hiring?" Right when asking that, the girl glanced up at her. Then quickly lowered her head again, asking for work. At that moment, she was somewhat vigilant. Instinct from running a store for decades told her. You can't judge by appearance. Pure looks don't mean a good person. Not to mention further, just her behavior and demeanor alone weren't like normal people. Better not to hire, than risk someone who might cause trouble. Zhang Shufang said gently, "Sorry. Temporarily don't need anyone." Chapter 32. Must try harder tomorrow. Zhang Shufang just finished speaking. The strange girl before her still kept her head down. Hadn't left yet. This stifling hot midday. Still wearing a long-sleeved hoodie running everywhere. Who else but her? Now her lips were so dry they were cracked and pale. Sophia didn't dare look directly at her. "Please, give me a chance. I really need a job." Her voice was very small. Stuttering bit by bit, each stumble, she'd lightly clutch her clothes from tension. That hesitant, fearful appearance made her, an older person, unable to bear seeing it. Her heart softened, so she let down her guard a bit. "How about this? Leave your contact information. If I need someone later, I'll call you. Let's connect first, then I'll consider further." Sophia hurriedly took out her phone. The two exchanged contact information. Finished, Zhang Shufang planned to chat with her a bit, wanting to probe indirectly why she'd been lingering around the store these days. If finding nothing worrisome, would hire her as an employee immediately. But she seemed very scared. Just finished connecting. Already bowed her head in goodbye and hurriedly ran off. Leaving Fengyuan supermarket, she followed the old road back. Walking a distance, the fear of facing people and communicating gradually faded. Even until now, she was still confused. Fingers still ice cold. Lately she was always like this. Going out, crossing several streets. Searching for places hiring. This small supermarket she'd noticed long ago. Location quite hidden. Few customers. The number of people to contact daily would be fewer. An ideal workplace, she'd witnessed, when the owner posted the hiring notice. Every day she'd come look. Nearly a week now. Only today did she dare step inside. All thanks to Ethan Carter's hug last night. Giving her courage. Helping her dare take this step. For most people, this was just something very simple. Passing by, seeing a hiring sign. Just go in and ask if they still need people. Only takes a few minutes. But for Sophia, it was a whole challenge. Just entering the store, she stood behind the owner. Throat feeling choked, unable to form words. Though she'd observed these days. Prepared mentally thoroughly, otherwise it'd be ages before she'd dare come. Sophia just had psychological problems. Her mind was still clear. These days she'd been paying attention. From when the hiring notice was posted until now, no one had come to apply. The owner saying not hiring now was just a tactful way to reject her. Sophia sighed. This situation wasn't the first time. After returning to the city and locking herself in that small rental room, she'd also tried job hunting. And that was the first time she realized she truly had problems. When applying for jobs, facing simple questions from owners, she'd often get so tense she couldn't speak a word. Later the condition got worse. Just someone getting a bit closer. She'd be scared to death. Things she'd experienced carved a wound in her heart. Fear kept torturing her mind and body. She gradually realized she could no longer live like a normal person. After that, she completely shut herself in. just hiding in the rental room. To survive, to live until the day debts were paid. She'd stepped into nearly all the online scam traps. Finally, her heart completely froze. Then started filming suggestive videos. During that time, she still looked for work. People just had to see her avoiding eye contact, timid and withdrawn, to think she wasn't normal. Then gently decline hiring. Sophia could understand. No one wanted to hire someone who looked like they had psychological problems. This time going out, she'd changed a lot. She was trying to control the fear inside that she couldn't regulate, trying to make herself look more normal. But her eyes couldn't help still avoiding. Words still stammering. Facing people, she kept trembling. All these manifestations kept her far from those 3 words, normal person. As expected, this time she still hadn't found work. Though saying disappointment solved nothing. Saying she wasn't sad at all was impossible. Tomorrow must try even harder. She'd decided to keep living. Wanting to keep loving him. No matter how hard, couldn't give up. Because he was still waiting for her. Sophia patted her cheeks lightly, telling herself to lift her spirits. She checked her phone and quickly headed home. From here to the rental area near school wasn't close. To save a few yuan on transportation, she walked both ways. Just travel time alone took nearly 3 hours. Today she'd also stood outside the store for nearly an hour. Soon Ethan Carter would get off work and call her. Had to hurry back. On the way home, she was no longer sneaky and timid like when coming. Her head only thought of the person she loved. So her spirits improved greatly. Though her feet hurt a bit from walking. Thinking about soon seeing me. This bit of pain was nothing. At another place. Beneath Riverside Network Technology Company building. Goodbye, team leader. Sophie Chen energetically waved goodbye to Ethan Carter. I politely nodded back, smiling but not forgetting to remind. Manage your own progress. Tomorrow morning don't make me remind you again. Sophie Chen's face darkened. She immediately slipped into the parking lot. I smirked secretly, then carefully checked traffic on both sides. Went to the shared e-bike to scan the code. Sophie Chen definitely knew something. All day today deliberately getting close and ingratiating. Even at lunch sitting at the same table. Those flirtatious tricks. I didn't care at all. Just mentioning work and seeing her face fall again was amusing. Consider it off-work entertainment. I didn't value her at all. I scanned the code and got on the bike. Not rushing off. Instead messaging Sophia. Going to eat later. When I arrive, I'll message you. The familiar response. Okay. I put away my phone and started biking home. The scorching sun overhead was very uncomfortable. But thinking about soon seeing that soft, sweet-smelling little thing naturally felt happy inside. Weather this hot. If that silly girl stood waiting for me early again. Later I'd definitely nag a few sentences. I thought this to myself. Biking to the rental building row. Found a parking spot and neatly positioned the bike. Didn't see anyone by the roadside. I thought to myself, quite well behaved today. Locked the bike, walking toward the building. About to message her to come down. Sorry. Did I make you wait long? A familiar voice rang from afar. I turned around, seeing Sophia running from the end of the street toward me. Running close before stopping. She was breathing heavily, hair soaked with sweat sticking to her cheeks. Could tell she'd just run quite far. I asked, weather this hot, wearing a hoodie, not hot? Sophia smiled at me while breathing lightly and shaking her head. Face all flushed from heat. Yet still shaking her head? I handed her a tissue. Then asked, where were you? Why coming from that direction? Sophia wiped her sweat, gaze avoiding, just softly answering, just went out for a little walk. Seeing she didn't want to say, I didn't ask more either. Changed topics, asking what she wanted to eat. She looked up at me. I'll follow you. I said, give me a hug. An unexpected request. Sophia obediently moved closer, slowly leaning into my arms. She truly liked being close to me like this. My chin lightly touched her forehead, feeling the soft breath from her hair. Suddenly, Sophia seemed to remember something. She let go of me, wanting to step back. I didn't let her. Still holding tight, softly asking, what's wrong? Sophia mumbled, I'm all sweaty. Not fragrant, Don't hug too long. That strange consideration made me laugh. I just held a bit longer before letting go. Grasping her hand. Let's buy something to drink first. Today's really hot. Let's go eat cold skewers. Sophia hummed softly, letting me lead. Walking a distance. She suddenly said softly, sorry. I glanced at her, then still looked ahead. My steps slowed, gently asking like normal conversation, sorry for what? Sophia lowered her face. I let you treat me again. Sorry. And today I still haven't found work. Sorry, Ethan Carter. I laughed. It's like I'm treating my girlfriend. Not your fault. Sophia said quietly, later I'll treat you too. Don't know why this silly girl. All day long thought about such random things. I softly answered, okay. Just didn't expect that. Just talking with her made my heart feel unusually joyful. No matter what we said, never felt tired. She looked up at me. I won't make you wait too long. I didn't turn my head. Just glimpsed from the corner of my eye. That small face looking up at me. Not a trace of sadness left. I was like coaxing a child. Following her words to continue. Okay, then remember to tell me beforehand. Otherwise I'll worry. Sophia smiled, curiously asking, I'm treating you. Why would you be nervous? I answered, going to eat with someone you like. Either way you'll be excited. We're not an old married couple who can stay calm. Those words, old married couple, came out unexpectedly, making that silly girl's face flush bright red. The corners of her mouth curved slightly. I'll definitely treat you to lots of meals. All delicious things. I smiled. Great. I really love good food. She continued, I also want to buy you things you like. I answered, good. Having someone who wants to buy things for me. Should thank you first. Sophia smiled brightly. No need to thank me. In her eyes, only I remained. The surrounding world seemed to disappear. No more fear, just immersed in happiness. After a whole day going everywhere, the disappointment of not finding work also vanished completely. I looked at her smile. All the fatigue from a day's work also lessened considerably. I bought 2 iced coconut waters, adding lots of coconut jelly. The cold skewer shop was at the southwest gate of Riverside No. 2 High School. Had to walk a bit further to get there. We walked together on the small road beside the school. On the side were neat rows of trees. Though autumn, the sun was still harsh. I walked on the outside to shield her from the sun. After buying coconut water, we'd temporarily let go of each other's hands. Seeing not many people around, Sophia moved to my empty-handed side. Without waiting for me to speak, she'd already proactively grasped my hand first. Taking initiative now, huh? I glanced at her. Sophia didn't dare lift her head. Looking down, both shy and silent, walking while sipping coconut water. That small hand wasn't still. She clumsily played in my palm. I let her, quietly feeling that adorable awkwardness. Sophia pried open my palm, threading her fingers between mine, interlacing all 10 fingers tightly. This silly girl learned fast. After holding hands, both naturally slowed their pace. A light breeze blew past. Sophia raised her hand to brush hair by her ear, softly asking, you still love me, right? Voice small as a passing breeze. You can confirm it as many times as you want. This was the card I'd given her. I lightly squeezed the small hand in mine, gently responding. She smiled at me. Then I love you too. The words weren't loud, but gentle as the evening light. When the soul was touched by love, old wounds also began to heal. My beloved, when you can't see, I'm also trying to step out from the past. I'm always clumsy and awkward. Will be a bit slow. Really sorry for making you wait. And thank you for being willing to wait for me. Chapter 33. Old married couple. Just entering home, heard clattering in the kitchen like something stewing. Jong Yun held the wall, put on slippers, then asked, Mom, why are you home early today? Found someone to work? Hearing her daughter return, Zhang Shufang was holding a ladle, stepping out from the kitchen. Ribs are still stewing. Have to wait a bit more. Why are you off work so early? Zhang Yun said her boss told her to mentor an intern. So work was lighter, meaning she got off early. She finished changing slippers, then followed Mom to the kitchen. taking a piece of rib to test if it was done. Zhang Shufang blew on it, reminding her to be careful not to burn herself. But got burned anyway. Zhang Yun, after getting burned, placed the rib in a bowl to cool. Mom, honestly, just close that store. Wouldn't playing cards with neighbors in the afternoon be more fun? Dad died from a stroke a few years ago. Mom alone these years. She'd always advised Mom to find companionship. As for that small grocery store Mom opened, the last employee had quit too. Not much profit either. And Mom couldn't handle it alone. Closing was right. But Mom refused, even telling her to print more hiring notices. Honestly, she thought, with a salary of 1,500 yuan, who'd you hire? Having to be at the store all day. Zhang Shufang glanced at her, pursing her lips. Don't think no one applied. This afternoon someone actually came. After saying that, she held the ladle stirring the rib pot, face showing some smugness. Zhang Yun didn't quite believe it, using chopsticks to pick up the cooled rib in the bowl, testing the temperature with her lips, then taking a bite. Not an old person, right? If something happens in the shop, who could handle it? Zhang Shufang said no. A young girl, probably around your age. Zhang Yun pursed her lips, clearly not believing. Really? Tomorrow come to the shop and see. Zhang Shufang said, but Mom hasn't hired her yet. She asked back, weren't you planning to stop running the shop? Not planning to hire anymore? No. Zhang Shufang looked at her chewing ribs. Is it done? She nodded. Just right. Then scoop it out. One person got bowls. One scooped out ribs. The mother-daughter meal was simple. A pot of ribs stewed with radish. Had both vegetables and meat. Eating wasn't elaborate. While eating, continued the earlier conversation. Mom said that girl looked a bit strange. Zhang Yun said, probably the hard-to-approach type. Zhang Shufang shook her head, thinking a moment. Couldn't find suitable words. Zhang Yun guessed again. Dressed weird? Strange appearance? Zhang Shufang shook her head again. A very pretty girl. Though so hot, still wearing long sleeves. But not to the point of bizarre. Zhang Yun asked, then what's strange? Zhang Shufang answered, feels like she's very afraid of me. She laughed. You scared her? Zhang Shufang protested. Mom barely said anything. How could I scare her? Zhang Yun asked, then how did Mom see she was scared? While chewing ribs, watching Mom tell the story. Zhang Shufang said she didn't know how to describe it, just found her very strange. So hot yet lingering, outside the shop for days. When talking, didn't dare look straight. Always timid, like hiding something. After hearing, Zhang Yun didn't find it that strange. Zhang Shufang didn't know how to describe it either. Just talking casually. Thinking back, it was true. But when actually seeing her, the feeling was completely different. Zhang Shufang asked her daughter, should I hire her? Zhang Yun answered, hire her, why not? With Mom's salary, having someone come ask is already great. Zhang Shufang still felt not very safe. What if? Zhang Yun said, Mom, across from our shop is the police station. Even if she's a thief, she'd be a stupid thief. True, she pondered, serving her daughter a piece of radish. Eat some vegetables. After eating, Zhang Yun returned to her bedroom. Sitting at the desk continuing to be busy. These days, which young person didn't have work pressure? Zhang Shufang sat in the living room, turning down the TV volume a bit, flipping through supermarket discount flyers. Though just running a small grocery store, she really enjoyed wandering supermarkets, especially inviting friends along. She took out her phone to call Huilan. Zhang Shufang's daughter and Huilan's son were in the same elementary school class back then. The two met at parent meetings then. Their homes were also close, so often went to the market together, becoming longtime friends. Hello, Huilan? This Saturday, are you off? Oh, nothing much. Huiman's supermarket is having a sale. Want to go shopping together Saturday? When young, one wishes for solitude, enjoying being alone. But the older you get, the more you fear loneliness. That's how it is at this age. Mrs. Huilan and Zhang Shufang started chatting on the phone. Actually, she was lonely too. Though her husband, Chen Miaohao, was a good person. never ignoring when talking. Affection of decades remained good. But an old married couple also gets worn down by time. Nothing much left to say. He was busy all day with things she didn't understand at all. And the gossip she wanted to share, he had no interest in whatsoever. Daily interactions became scheduled routines. He cooked, she washed dishes. He watched TV with her. She peeled fruit for him. The stars they once gazed at together. Now just rice grains at the pot's bottom. Couldn't say it was bad. Just a bit melancholy. Having a friend to chat with was actually important. Mrs. Huilan talked on the phone with Zhang Shufang, laughing and chatting endlessly. Meanwhile, Chen Miaohao was fussing with the new fish equipment bought online at the cold skewer shop at Riverside No. 2 High School's southwest gate. Don't look anymore. What if you look too much and get tired of it? I was truly speechless. Don't know what was with her today. Clinging to me constantly, even while eating skewers, kept staring at me. She tilted her head, confused. Why would I get tired? I said, have to look for a lifetime. What if you get tired of looking first? She trembled, moved, shyly lowering her face. Didn't hear the beginning. Didn't hear the end. Only heard those 3 words, a lifetime, in the middle. She hummed softly, dazed. A whole lifetime. I didn't know what she was humming about. Just felt her expression was somewhat strange. Cheeks slightly flushed. Don't know what she was thinking. The more I looked, the sillier she seemed. Oh no, was she actually silly? I shook my head, immediately dismissing that thought. Anyway, back in high school, her academic performance was better than mine. She was even a study committee member. Couldn't actually be silly. Impossible. I picked up several cold skewers to place on the plate. She kept staring at me. I hadn't eaten much yet, thinking she might eat plain noodles again. In her rental room, I just wanted to fill her up. I said, let me do it myself. Seeing the plate almost full, she finally came to her senses. I said, eat more. If it's not enough, I'll get more. She said, this is enough. I said nothing, just used my eyes to signal her to eat. She was obedient, very compliant, picked up a cold skewer, blew on it. Then ate it all. After eating, even looked up and smiled at me. I looked at her dumbfounded. Cold skewers, yet still had to blow on them first. Seems I judged too early. Still couldn't conclude if she was silly. Needed to keep observing. Observe a bit more. Chapter 34. This morning I promised her. Sky clear without a cloud. The school broadcast was playing morning exercise music. Could hear clearly even from far away. I rode the shared e-bike to work. Passing by the school grounds. From afar already saw her. Standing by the roadside outside the rental area. Director Zuo told her to meet me. Because after witnessing last night, I had a psychological episode. Wasn't reassured. So before work, told me to see her briefly. Don't know what this silly girl was thinking. Yesterday afternoon after eating, I was the one who proactively said I wanted to see her every morning. Though truly on the way. Actually I felt it wasn't necessary. I usually had to wake quite early for work. Completely unnecessary. To wake early just to meet once like this. But that silly girl kept pleading. So I had to agree. Good morning. Sophia waved lightly at me. I stopped the bike in front of her. Smiling at her. Handing her breakfast. She said didn't need to bring breakfast for her. A bit embarrassed. The result was, originally I said I wanted to see her every morning. Now it seemed to turn into making her come deliver breakfast to me every morning. She wanted to show affection to me. Unexpectedly ended up being cared for by me instead. Would this make her become a bit spoiled? She didn't have time to think much. Watching the silly girl tangled up inside. I extended my arms, saying, instead of saying all this, why not come give me a hug? The corners of her mouth bloomed into a smile. Hurriedly stepping closer. The feeling of being held in my arms was truly comfortable. Like being addicted, I held her. Suddenly thinking, hugging so much, would she find it annoying? She lightly shook her head in my arms. Acting cute, nuzzling against my chest. Her voice gentle, I like being hugged by you. And I like you too. So direct early in the morning. I reluctantly held her a bit longer before letting go. Reluctantly leaving her embrace. On the road, remember to go slowly. Remember to be safe. I nodded, saying goodbye. Then rode away. She stood in place, watching my figure. On her body still remained the warmth from my embrace. Hugged so many times. Heart still racing like this. The hug didn't just convey warmth. It also gave her courage. She wanted to keep loving me. Today must also work hard finding a job. No matter how much she stuttered. Must try to speak up. No matter how much she trembled and feared. Must try finding work, must face it. Must try harder. I already promised her. She was still waiting for me. I couldn't make her wait too long. Sophia's gaze became determined. At the same time, at Fengyuan supermarket, Mrs. Zhang Shufang was pulling up the rolling door. Today opening earlier than usual. Without employees. All work fell on her. Not to mention far. Yesterday's merchandise still wasn't organized. Just stepping into the store, she started getting busy. Before long, someone came to buy cigarettes. A child came to buy snacks. She had to rush to the counter to ring up. Kept busy until noon. Sat at the checkout counter eating a lunchbox brought from home. Hadn't eaten a few bites when someone came in to buy things. Couldn't earn much money. Yet tired until her back ached. Even meals weren't peaceful. This wasn't working. After eating, she put on reading glasses. Took out her phone to find yesterday's saved number. At the rental area near school. Sophia was opening the map on her phone. Looking at shops along the street. Planning where to ask for work today. In small towns like Riverside, job information was rarely posted online. Normal shops needing to hire usually just posted hiring notices at the door. Whoever passed by and saw the notice would step in to ask. Basic process was like that, but mainly still word of mouth referrals. In small towns, people saw each other daily. News spread very fast. Hearing somewhere needed workers. Hearing someone's family had unemployed people. Everyone started introducing each other. Sophia had isolated herself all these years. Not to mention losing ability to communicate normally. Just social connections alone. She had almost none. Relationships with adults or peers had long been severed. Completely no connections at all. She looked at the map, observing shops. Then quietly went asking at each place. Could only use this method. Clumsy and ineffective, but she was trying bit by bit to step out of her shell. Never just saying this was difficult. She always took action. On the small table by the window. She carefully recorded in a notebook. Writing down all the shops she'd visited to inquire. To avoid duplicates when returning. Due to psychological issues, she didn't have ability to go to every shop asking for work. Each shop she crossed off in the notebook was the result of very thorough confirmation. At midday, when hardly anyone was on the streets, she wrapped herself up and stepped out, choosing a small-scale shop. Fewer people, standing far away to observe. Many times, even she thought it was funny. She looked no different from a thief scouting. She wasn't picky about work. Even if exhausting, grueling or low pay, didn't matter. She just hoped to interact with as few people as possible. Because if meeting too many people, she feared suddenly having an episode. Crouching down trembling would frighten people. Then get fired by the owner. When she was focused on the phone map, planning which shops to visit today, the screen suddenly showed an incoming call. Her first reaction was thinking it must be Ethan Carter calling. Anyway, besides me, no one else called her. By habit, she planned to answer immediately. But before her hand swiped the answer button, her finger froze. It wasn't me. Thinking a few seconds, probably some advertising call, she still answered. Said nothing. Waiting for the other side to speak first. Hello. May I ask, are you the girl who came to the shop yesterday asking for work? This is the owner of Fengyuan supermarket. Sophia froze a moment, then hurriedly responded, though just over the phone. She still couldn't control her anxiety. Mind blank from fear. After the other party briefly stated the reason for calling. Asking if she was free this afternoon to discuss work further. She stuttered yes. Then asked around what time. The two arranged a specific time. Call ended. Even worse than waiting was the anxiety while waiting. After hanging up, she fell into an extremely nervous state. Heart full of worry. just watching the clock counting every passing second. 2 hours before the appointment. She'd already left home. On the way, emotions tangled. Constantly thinking what the other party would ask. How she should answer. If too scared to speak. What should she do? If trembling non-stop, how to hide it? Worrying about everything. Hands and feet ice cold. Completely losing direction. They'd arranged to meet at 2:30 p.m. But past 1 o'clock, she was already near Fengyuan supermarket. Looking from afar. Waiting until the time to step inside. Zhang Shufang was sitting at the checkout counter. Past 2 p.m. Weather outside blazing hot. Not many customers either. She wasn't like those kids glued to phones all day. Looking at screens made her eyes blur. Not looking at phones, yet nothing to do. Started getting sleepy. Before, when there was an employee watching the shop, she'd go home for a quick nap then return. Now just her alone. Had to sit watching the store. Age catching up. Head nodding from drowsiness. When she lifted her head again. Don't know from when. Someone standing right there startled her. Drowsiness immediately vanished. Looking carefully. Turned out to be yesterday's girl. Still wearing a long-sleeved hoodie. Didn't seem hot at all. She kept clutching her clothes. Head down, standing before the checkout counter. Saying nothing. Felt very strange. Couldn't quite say it was just shy. Zhang Shufang's heart started wavering. Could someone like this really be hired? Suddenly remembering her daughter's words. Having someone come ask was already fortunate. She quickly smiled warmly. Standing up to greet, "When did you arrive?" Sophia answered softly, "Just got here." She gathered all her courage to look up at her once. Trying to appear as normal as possible. But the fear inside kept surging up. Making her unable to maintain eye contact long. Zhang Shufang confirmed with her. Asking if she planned to work here. Sophia wanted to answer. But words stuck in her throat, couldn't come out. She could only nod as an answer. Silently praying the other party wouldn't find her too strange. Zhang Shufang didn't mind much. Just explained a bit about salary and job requirements. Initially Zhang Shufang thought she was a strange girl. But after interacting a while, felt like maybe not that extreme. Just behavior was a bit avoidant. And didn't talk much. But nodding and shaking head were very active. When she asked if she accepted the salary, she nodded vigorously like a pecking chicken. Asked if she had opinions about working hours. She shook her head hard like a rattledrum. Though she didn't say much. The feeling was she was very agreeable. To be safe, Zhang Shufang still kept some vigilance. Deliberately mentioning across the street was the police station. Saying police often stopped by to buy things. Even if she had bad intentions. Probably should reconsider. After that, she started explaining basic job content. She knew clearly her treatment was just ordinary, yet the person before her was such a pretty girl. Probably never did such hard work. She hesitated giving her merchandise stocking duties. So arranged her as cashier at the counter. Just needed to bag items, operate the register, that's it. Work was also light. After saying everything, Zhang Shufang asked if she had questions. She lowered her gaze, hands trembling from tension. She didn't want to be like this either. But couldn't control it. Anyway, about to have work. In her heart, she also felt happy for her. Just the cashier position, she considered carefully. Then tried looking up, looking at the other party with determined eyes. Raising her voice softly. Could I work on merchandise stocking instead? Zhang Shufang thought she misheard. Frozen for a moment, looking into her eyes again. She immediately averted her gaze. Even stepping back half a step. That action made her even more confused. Wouldn't do light work. Insisted on choosing hard work. Planning to steal? But the shop had cameras everywhere. Probably not that extreme. Was that step back genuine? Zhang Shufang smiled lightly. All right then. But salary's still 1,500. No problem, right? She breathed a sigh of relief. Got hired? No problem. Still stuttering. She didn't want that either. Just hoped the other party wouldn't mind. Do you have your ID and bank card? Zhang Shufang asked. She hurriedly took them out, handing them with both hands. She took them, putting on reading glasses. Holding the ID far to see. Squinting trying to read her name. Characters too small, she muttered. Not sure if she read it wrong. Looked up to confirm. Yes. She nodded lightly. Zhang Shufang smiled kindly. Nice name. Then recorded information in the book. Initially planned to chat a bit to be friendlier. But she barely spoke, so couldn't really start conversation. When there were no customers, Zhang Shufang led her around the supermarket shelves, explaining work content in detail. Actually not much, called a supermarket, but essentially just a bigger convenience store. Just needed to know how to read. Stocking goods needed some strength. Zhang Shufang still quietly observed her. While she explained, she listened attentively, not showing annoyance or fatigue. Moreover, this girl was truly very pretty. The more she looked, the more favorable she felt. Besides not liking to talk and being a bit strange, everything else was fine. After showing everything, she had Sophia try some tasks herself. She was truly serious. Zhang Shufang only meant for her to try briefly. But she was very diligent, working very hard, like she truly valued this job, not feeling like pretending at all. Besides, with this salary, no one needed to pretend. Watching her work like that, Zhang Shufang felt guilty, hurriedly calling to stop. All right, Xiao Wei. Well then, tomorrow morning come at 7:30. Oh right. Salary paid on the 10th monthly. 4 days off monthly, can swap shifts. If you want time off, just tell me beforehand. Not many strict rules. No problem, right? Hearing her finish, she bowed deeply in thanks. It's fine. No problem at all. Such behavior made Zhang Shufang feel constrained too. This afternoon, just go home first. See you tomorrow. Sophia wanted to say goodbye to her. Wanted to apologize, but words just reached her mouth then choked back. Both embarrassed and scared, she bowed again, then quickly left. Watching the small girl's hurried figure, Zhang Shufang couldn't help feeling strange. This girl Xiao Wei, when meeting, didn't greet. When leaving, didn't say goodbye. Not requiring her to be polite to the shop owner. Just treating her like a friendly adult would be enough. This attitude was truly hard to assess. Saying she was rude, yet she bowed very sincerely. Looked quite serious too. Saying she was introverted, yet her nodding and shaking head were very nimble. Really strange. Extremely peculiar. Though somewhat odd indeed, at least not to the point of replacing her. Zhang Shufang withdrew her gaze. Suddenly remembering something, rummaged her pocket for a small mirror to check her face. Fixing her hair, looking left then right, couldn't help wondering, was she really that scary looking? Why did the girl always seem afraid of her? Riverside Network Technology Company. After getting off work, I left the company. Sophie Chen dragged me down to the parking lot. Initially she'd planned after work hours to proactively offer to drive me home, then seize the chance to invite dinner to create opportunities. Unfortunately this afternoon, just got scolded by me about work. So no mood left. Plus she also feared I'd bring up work topics again. Just thinking about it gave me a headache for her. Sophie Chen irritably returned to her car, throwing her bag hard onto the passenger seat. The bag wasn't cheap either. Before securing a long-term meal ticket, didn't dare break it. These days she'd tried every trick. But I was truly a stubborn blockhead, didn't get hints. She started suspecting I liked men. Otherwise why no reaction at all? Sophie Chen angrily found excuses for herself. She'd deliberately done this and that. Yet I still wouldn't even glance. Made her feel no different from a clown. Definitely because of the work environment. Making me only think about work. Sophie Chen consoled herself, trying to dismiss the irritation inside. Calm down, calm down. Anger harms oneself, who benefits? But thinking it over, if my conditions were slightly worse, she'd have given up long ago. Really infuriating. If not for this quality long-term meal ticket, she wouldn't bother looking at me. But just need to endure until next weekend. Next weekend there'd be a gathering. I was the new team leader of programming team 2. During lunch at the company cafeteria today, everyone in the team sat discussing, unanimously agreeing to gather to get acquainted. Of course, behind it was Sophie Chen secretly pushing. No matter how dry I was, couldn't refuse. Both emotionally and logically should organize one. To understand each other better. After discussion, I said, this week still need to hand over work with the old team leader. So let's schedule next weekend. I'll treat everyone. The whole group showed great enthusiasm. Don't know if Sophie Chen was imagining. But whenever she tried using tricks to approach me, felt I was so dry, stiff like a block of wood. Yet when talking and communicating with everyone, I was very skillful and tactful, knowing how to care about each person's feelings. Sophie Chen felt confused, but didn't think deeply, considered it due to the conversational atmosphere being very pleasant, making me temporarily forget work. This also made her more confident about winning me over. Just need to leave the company environment. Go to places for eating and relaxing, making me set work aside. Then instincts would emerge. After eating and drinking full, should think about men and women matters, right? Then wouldn't she be able to do whatever she wanted? Just wait until establishing the relationship. Must squeeze me dry physically. Then drain my wallet too. Must vent all frustration, don't dream of living peacefully. Just thinking this, Sophie Chen already felt the satisfaction of revenge. Couldn't help laughing aloud, dancing and bouncing happily like crazy. At this moment, at the parking lot entrance, Zhao Qian just walked in looking dazed. Last night she had nightmares. Couldn't sleep. All day at work today, she had no energy. The source of the nightmare was from that bathroom trip. Seeing Sophie Chen laughing bizarrely at the mirror truly scared her to death. Zhao Qian really liked watching Chinese horror films. The type without much courage. Scared yet liked watching. Ghost and spirit matters. She was always half believing. Not superstitious but also not completely denying. Mostly holding some reverence. All day today she basically just thought about one thing. Which temple to visit this weekend for peace. Kept thinking like that, reaching her car without realizing. Opening the car door. Before getting in, unconsciously glanced around. Seeing Sophie Chen's car still there, not left. Someone who always left work fastest in the company. Yet still not gone at this hour. Zhao Qian was a bit surprised. About to go greet her. Suddenly her pupils contracted. Immediately jumped into the car. Closing the door. A cold current shot from feet straight to the top of her head. Her back went ice cold. Neck hairs standing up. She hurriedly pulled the seatbelt and fastened it. Starting the engine. Backing out of the spot. Trying to leave that gloomy parking lot as fast as possible. Running to where there was sunlight. Merging into the light. Because just now, she saw Sophie Chen sitting alone in the driver's seat. Laughing while twisting her body as if possessed. Extremely bizarre. Chapter 35. Must cherish yourself. Dusk is the sun's confession. Sky ran brilliant gold. Like writing earth and heaven's reluctance to part. The moment of separation approaching. Couldn't help making hearts melancholy and reluctant. Skies sometimes sunny, sometimes rainy. Never could be complete. Having longing and remembering, we'll meet again. Though autumn waters clear, can't compare to waters of forgetting. The word, love, is truly hard to fully express. The sun sets westward, here gradually yielding light. Memories emerging. There stepping into light. I rode the shared e-bike. Turning from the street corner in the evening glow. Amid sunlight ranning the ground gold, someone was waiting. A girl bathed in twilight. Smiling brightly at me. In my eyes. Only she could rival the evening clouds. Today she was also breathtakingly beautiful. I found a spot, parking and locking the bike. Checking both sides of the road for cars. Then walking before her. Sophia smiled gently at me. You worked hard. I looked at that smile and remembered. Suddenly felt a familiar feeling surge. Just like in those anime adaptations. A husband returning from work after a long day. Wife at home standing at the door waiting. Gently saying, you worked hard. Then clasping hands below her stomach. Shyly asking, do you want to eat first? Bathe first? Or eat me first? Of course, cannibalism wasn't encouraged nor legal. I quickly dismissed those absurd images in my head. Teasing her. Why are you smiling like such an obedient little wife? Little wife, Sophia jumped. Face immediately flushing bright red. Lowering her head immediately. Small hands fidgeting wildly. Not knowing what to do. What I said no longer mattered. Her little brain. had automatically activated information filter mode. All redundant sentences were deleted. Didn't need to know if I was giving an example. Or just joking. None of it mattered. In summary, in her ears, only one phrase remained. Little wife. If doing simple conversion, it was basically like I was calling her, wifey. Wasn't that a bit too soon? Sophia's little head started imagining wildly. She was both shy and bowed down. Even turning slightly, embarrassed like a child. I didn't know why this silly girl suddenly flushed red. Couldn't be that serious. Just one teasing comment and already so embarrassed? We'd even hugged already. Whatever. I didn't mind much either. Watching her turn, shoulders lightly swaying, looked even more adorable. Just a bit silly. I naturally grasped her hand. What do you want to eat? Sophia moved a bit closer to me. Shoulders lightly touching. She tried looking up at me once. Just making eye contact, quickly lowered her head. Shy and timid. Looking extremely obedient. I'll follow you completely. Looks like classmate Sophia really had become a little wife. I withdrew my gaze. Let's buy something to drink first. Today let's go to that special braised pork rice place. She obediently answered. I led her along the familiar path to the street food shop. Lately we'd been stopping by here often. The drink vendor also recognized us now. Seeing us approach and smiling in greeting, I ordered 2 coconut waters. Boss, add coconut jelly, please. Students weren't out yet, so not many customers. Made them quickly too. Few yuan for a big cup. Of course couldn't be 100% pure coconut water. Just simple mixing. Added some toppings then sealed the lid. I took both cups from the vendor. Preparing to scan the payment code. When she lightly tugged my sleeve. Asked softly, can I pay? I looked at her. In her sparkling dark eyes was sincerity earnestly waiting for my agreement. I thought a moment. Didn't pretend anymore. Okay, you pay. Given permission. She happily scanned the payment code. Honestly, looked strange. Spending her own money. Yet she smiled brightly like receiving a reward. I shook my head and smiled. Really couldn't understand this girl's thinking. We sipped coconut water while leisurely walking to the restaurant. She found today's coconut water especially delicious. Cold and refreshing. Coconut jelly also chewy and smooth. Now she'd made a start with work. Didn't need to save excessively anymore. Could start spending. In a planned way, and for me too. That made her feel very happy. Her steps were light. Occasionally even bouncing a few small steps. Corners of her mouth carrying a sweet smile. Really couldn't hide anything. Probably encountered something happy. I withdrew my gaze from her. Taking a sip of coconut water. Casually asked, anything happy recently? Tell me about it. She was about to answer. Almost letting slip about finding work. But stopped in time. Then smiled lightly. Being with you, I'm happy every day. After saying that, even grinned at me. Unlike normal people, her condition was quite special. For her, any job could be lost at any moment. Her illness was real. Difficult communication. Unable to integrate normally with others. Those serious psychological issues could flare up at any time. And could also become reasons for her to be fired. If she just said she found work, then only days later got fired, how disappointed would I be? She didn't want me disappointed. More precisely, she feared disappointing me. At least had to wait until receiving salary before daring to tell me. That silly girl didn't want to say. So I didn't ask more. Just watched her smile foolishly at me. I said bluntly, your smile looks silly. Called silly again. She felt a bit embarrassed, withdrawing her gaze. Also dimming her smile. I said, remember to smile at me more in the future. She looked up. Asked hesitantly, didn't you say I was silly? I smiled. I like silly people. Can't like silly people? At that question, she burst into a bright smile again. You always find ways to say you like me. That very affirmation reassured her. I suddenly remembered something. Oh right, I have good news to tell you. She asked, what good news? I said, I bought a car. She made a small sound like thinking about something. She didn't know much about cars. Wasn't very interested either. But buying a car meant no more sun exposure, that was good. Just that cars must be very expensive. I looked at the silly girl before me pondering. Then continued, this weekend I should be able to drive it. Then come with me to downtown to walk around. Lost in thought, she looked up, smiling lightly at me. Okay, walking to the special braised pork rice shop. As usual I ordered. She stood beside me. The shop space was small. A few tables of customers just finished eating and left. Walking right past her, she felt a bit afraid, trying to control her trembling. After ordering, I led her to sit at the corner table, having her sit on the inside for quiet. I still held her hand tightly. Leaning over, softly asked, better now? She forced a smile at me, wanting to stubbornly say it was fine. But too much self-deception, ultimately couldn't say it. Oh right. Today at the company something quite interesting happened. I started telling her random work stories, wanting to help distract her. V's mind naturally followed my narrative. The psychological episode about to erupt was forcibly suppressed. She could eat normally again. While eating, she again found excuses to put braised pork and fried egg in my bowl. I didn't say much, just put potato pancakes in hers. Seeing her bowl nearly empty of food, I put more braised pork in for her. Like feeding a child. She'd eat a bit, then I'd add more. When nearly finished eating, VY suddenly told me honestly, I found work. I congratulated her, immediately understanding inside. So that's why she was happy earlier. Didn't want to say before. Now suddenly saying it. Probably thought of something more. Just as I guessed. She lightly gripped her chopsticks, then spoke her true thoughts. From now on, afternoons don't need to treat me anymore. We can each eat at home. I asked, why? Don't want to eat with me anymore? No. VY shook her head vigorously. I said nothing, just looked at her, waiting for her to explain. Being stared at until she didn't dare lift her head. Eating out every day like this is expensive. Plus you just bought a car. Her voice grew smaller and smaller. Turns out this silly girl worried I was having financial difficulties, so wanted to help me save some money. I found her adorable. But if I don't invite you out to eat, what if you eat poorly at home? Thinking of that pot of plain boiled noodles last time. VY quickly waved her hands. No. Now I have work. I'll eat properly. I didn't immediately agree. Just put another piece of braised pork in her bowl. Then changed topics. Then why when I asked earlier if you had something happy, you wouldn't tell me? Hearing that, her body trembled slightly. So you already guessed I had happy news then. Like being exposed for lying to my face. She turned slightly. I reminded softly, tell me. Suddenly she felt tense again. Lowering her head, stuttering, not knowing how to explain. I looked up at her, slowly answering, voice calm but carrying pressure. She obediently listened, looking up at me, clear eyes not daring to look elsewhere. I took a tissue to wipe the corner of her mouth. Speak. She slowly organized her words. Speaking honestly, you know, my condition isn't stable. I was afraid to say I had work then get fired. Afraid you'd be disappointed. I smiled gently. Then why did you decide to tell me? Sophia answered, you bought a car. I want to help you save a bit. I asked, so you're not afraid of disappointing me anymore? She pressed her lips, pausing. Then honestly answered, afraid. But I'm more afraid of being a burden to you. I sighed. Girl who makes one's heart ache. Sophia jumped, heart seeming to tighten. She hurriedly apologized. I laughed softly. What are you apologizing for? She stuttered. Couldn't clearly state a reason. Just felt that sigh was because of her. I understood that. Didn't want to tease her more either. I softened my voice, telling her to keep eating. She obediently lowered her head to continue eating, occasionally sneaking glances at me, wanting to see my expression. I saw everything, but kept a calm demeanor. I sighed. Just felt this girl was too sensitive. Always worrying about everything. She herself ate plain noodles to get by, yet worried if someone who just bought a car was living well. How could she be that silly? Clearly she was the one deserving love and care. The meal gradually ended. I spoke up. Then from now on, afternoons I won't invite you to eat. You must eat properly yourself. Hearing me say that, Sophia's face brightened. She nodded, softly humming agreement. This way. She felt she could help me a bit now. very happy inside. But I suddenly became serious. Sophia unconsciously sat up straight waiting. I instructed her. After this afternoon meal, I'm asking you to go out for walks. You must come. This is an order. Sophia seriously nodded. I'll follow your order. I found her really interesting. Like a child, tease a bit and she believes it. Said it was an order. Yet she took it seriously. I looked at her with indulgent eyes. Saying nothing more. She was truly silly. Before treating others well, must first learn to cherish yourself. Chapter 36. Each day starts from early morning. Autumn breeze cool. I rode the shared e-bike past the school grounds. From afar already saw Sophia. Standing at the parking area across from the rental complex. Waving at me. I rang the bike bell in response. Yesterday we briefly discussed her work. Knowing she was working at a supermarket. So arranged to meet here this morning. I approached, stopped the bike and handed her breakfast. She quickly received it. Troubling you again. Receiving breakfast was also part of the conditions for me accepting. Not inviting her to eat in afternoons anymore. I work from home, so no trouble at all. Sophia looked at the steamed bun in hand, a bit surprised. Did you make this? I shook my head. No, our mom made it. She makes a lot at once and keeps them in the fridge. Morning, just steam and eat. Sophia looked at the bun in hand. Always thought they were store-bought because so delicious. Didn't expect homemade. Early morning, mind not yet clear. Suddenly realized something off in what I just said. She slowly looked up. Our mom. I didn't explain further. Just smiled at her with somewhat suggestive eyes. Being looked at like that, her face immediately flushed. Flustered, she turned to scan the rental bike code. Before getting on, I called her back. She averted her gaze, turning to ask. What? I opened my arms wide. Not coming for a hug? Almost forgot. She obediently stepped over to embrace me. When held in my arms, she seemed to want to ask something. But face burning red, didn't dare speak. After the brief hug, we separated. The supermarket where she worked and my company weren't the same direction. We parted ways at the first intersection. I didn't know with this silly girl's psychological condition if she could work smoothly. Still felt worried. Before long, arrived at the company. I locked the bike across the street. Accidentally glanced and saw Sophie Chen in a small floral dress sneaking into the company. Clearly trying to avoid me. I found it amusing. Didn't she used to like clinging to me? I held back laughter, deliberately hurrying in after her. Sophie Chen just saw me locking the bike across the street. So hurriedly slipped in first. Scolded these past days, she was scared now. Now didn't want to talk to me at the company. That blockhead only knew to talk about work. Just breathing a sigh of relief. Walking up the stairs, thinking how to avoid me today. Then heard me call, Sophie Chen. Her face immediately fell. Don't know how I caught up so fast. She tried to recover her expression. Turning with forced cheer. Morning, team leader. You're here early too today. I ran over, smiling at her. Saw you from afar. Deliberately ran after you. That's too much trouble for team leader. Sophie Chen's mouth twitched. Even deliberately chasing. I truly couldn't stand it. It's nothing. Oh right. That report I asked you to do yesterday. Just meeting and already bringing up work. I really didn't understand. Already submitted. Why keep pursuing it? Sophie Chen cried out inside. I saw her suffering expression. But pretended not to notice. Inside felt satisfied. Never before discovered. Tormenting others was this fun. A pleasant workday started with tormenting Sophie Chen. I just discovered a new special ability. Found new joy. So work time passed surprisingly fast. Actually not really tormenting terribly. Just. During meals deliberately sitting at same table. To discuss work. During breaks discussing skill improvement. When submitting reports, deliberately nitpicking a bit. Probably Sophie Chen couldn't handle the pressure. Now whenever she saw me, like a mouse seeing a cat. Seeing me from afar, found ways to avoid. Even during breaks didn't dare wander. Handing out snacks. Afraid I'd catch her to discuss work. Getting off work, I was about to greet her. Looked up searching around. Already no trace of her anywhere. Well then. I did go a bit overboard. But probably she was just psychologically weak. Consider it me training her. I consoled myself inside, reducing guilt, saying goodbye to remaining colleagues. I was about to message Sophia, asking if she'd gotten off work, when a message from an unfamiliar avatar popped up. Opening it, the car salesman from before. He asked if I was free, wanting to arrange dinner. Said just need to pay the remaining balance, then could come get the car. The car was at our company parking lot, the same place I'd first viewed it. I chatted with him a few lines, saying I'd come get the car directly. Skip dinner. Everyone understands. Just social pleasantries. Not really that close. I left the company. Called a ride. Arriving at that small packaging design company outside. Messaged that I'd arrived. That enthusiastic salesman quickly ran out to meet me, chatting while leading me to the parking lot. Glanced over the car. No problems. Did the handover procedures on the spot. I transferred the remaining amount. He confirmed receipt. Got the money. Said he had things at the company and left in a hurry. I opened the car door to get in. Then heard him call, Manager Zhang. I reflexively turned to look. At the parking lot entrance. He was talking with a tall woman, calling her Manager Zhang. She looked quite young. Gentle temperament. When smiling, even had small dimples. I looked at her a few more seconds. Of course, no special meaning. Just looked familiar. The woman called Manager Zhang. Said a few things to him. Then he left the parking lot. She tied her hair back while walking in. Sensing someone watching her, she casually looked over. Eyes meeting. She instinctively observed me. The young man looking at her. Tall, bright face. Pleasant appearance. Glanced at the car beside me, very familiar. Probably the one the colleague just mentioned selling. Perhaps sold to him. She smiled politely greeting me. I realized staring was somewhat rude, so also smiled back, opening the door to get in. Had test driven before, so operations quite familiar. I started the engine, leaving the parking lot. When driving past her, I glanced once more, right when she also turned. The car glided by. Their eyes met briefly. Zhang Yun stood still, watching the taillights until completely gone. She remained motionless. Clearly very familiar face, but couldn't remember who. Tried searching her memory. No impression, yet truly very familiar. Zhang Yun drove home. Just stepping in, smelled the braised milk soups. Rich aroma. She held the wall-changing slippers, calling toward the kitchen, Mom. Why are you home early today? Zhang Shufang held a ladle stepping from the kitchen. Seeing her daughter back, glanced at the clock. You're the one home a bit late. Traffic jam today. Actually, Zhang Yun wasn't stuck in traffic at all. Just met someone who looked very familiar, but couldn't remember who. Her daughter's words made Zhang Shufang laugh. Zhang Yun didn't plan to say more about it. Just asked, didn't Mom say you hired someone already? Why home early today? Mentioning this, Zhang Shufang seemed to have much to tell. While returning to the kitchen, said, that girl is very diligent. Besides talking little and being a bit afraid of strangers. Nothing to complain about. She works very efficiently. Should have taken all week to stock. Yet she finished nearly half in one day. Mom just watching felt tired for her. Skin so fair and delicate. Mom truly worried she'd overexert herself. Saw afternoon had no customers. So wanted to let her go home early to rest. So closed before time. Zhang Yun followed Mom to the kitchen. Scooping a bit of milk soup to taste. Careful, still hot, not forgetting to remind. Hot as burning couldn't stop her either. Zhang Yun blew on it. Pouring soup into a bowl to cool. Really as diligent as Mom said? Zhang Shufang not only nodded, but said her telling was still insufficient. Recalling that girl's hard-working appearance. She couldn't help shaking her head and sighing. Zhang Yun pursed her lips. Clearly not believing. Felt Mom was exaggerating. Overly dramatic. Zhang Shufang, oh right. You mentioned someone looked familiar but couldn't remember who. Male or female? Though her daughter only mentioned once. As a mother still paid attention. Zhang Yun, male. Zhang Shufang's expression slightly changed. Asked, around what age? Zhang Yun looked up thinking. Probably around my age. Zhang Shufang, what's he like? Jong Yun, tall, handsome. Just finished saying. Suddenly felt something off. She narrowed her eyes at Mom. Zhang Shufang quickly withdrew her probing gaze. Jong Yun, Mom, I'm not looking for a boyfriend. Zhang Shufang smiled awkwardly. If he looks decent, getting acquainted a bit wouldn't hurt. Who knows, maybe fate brought you together. Zhang Yun was speechless. Anything Mom said could be turned to romance. She didn't want any romance. Acting like one couldn't live without love. Before, they'd argued over this. Mom had promised not to mention it again. Zhang Yun looked at Mom without a word. Zhang Shufang stared at until feeling awkward. Fine, 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 Mom won't mention it, okay? Why are you looking at Mom like that? She glared at her daughter, deliberately showing displeasure. Is the soup done? If not done, why bring it out? It's done. Scoop it out to eat. Chapter 37. Preferences. Sophia was parking her e-bike by the roadside. She hurriedly answered, afraid even 1 second late. Hello? Off work yet? Yes, just finished. Where are you? I just finished the car handover. I'll come pick you up. I'm almost back at the rental. Then I'll come to the rental to find you. Okay. Sophia hung up, then pedaled home quickly. Had to go back and change clothes first. All day working, sweating a lot, didn't want him to smell it. Right now was rush hour. Driving wouldn't be much faster than biking. Waiting at a red light. I looked through the car window. Seeing people riding e-bikes under the sun. That scorching sun like burning fire. I involuntarily recalled days ago when I too was sunburned like that. I withdrew my gaze. Being a bit slow didn't matter. At least not getting sun on my body. Life was gradually improving. I wondered if that silly girl was being sunburned. Slowly pressed the gas. Green light, go. Driving sometimes fast, sometimes slow. Turning several corners. Entering the familiar street. From afar I saw a pretty figure. Sophia standing by the road. Nestled under roadside tree shade. Looking around. Black and white striped dress. Looked like she'd gone home to change. I drove to her spot. Sophia stepped back slightly, still craning to look toward the intersection. Truly silly. Car already stopped in front. Some people only recognize cars, not people. But others only recognize people, not caring about cars. I honked lightly. Sophia jumped, stepping back half a step. Gaze warily looking at the car. After seeing me in the driver's seat, her eyes immediately lit up. Hurriedly ran over. Yuen, you're truly silly. Car already stopped in front. Yet still looking lost like about to get lost. Sophia smiled embarrassedly. Sorry, I forgot. Get in. Sophia hummed softly. Then gently sat in the passenger seat. It's just an old car. Need to treat it like a treasure? Sophia said, but it's still expensive. She said quietly. Then fastened the seatbelt. I don't care what car it is. Don't care if it's old or not. Just know this is the car I bought. So must cherish it. I suddenly asked Sophia. What color is the car? A pop quiz. She looked at me confused. Gaze sneakily glancing at the hood. White. Good grief. Cheating right in front of the examiner? I shook my head, helplessly saying, white. Must remember the license plate too. Scolded again. Sophia lowered her face picking at fingers. I know. I'll remember well. This silly girl only had eyes for me. Don't know if that's good or bad. I said. Don't get in the wrong car later and get taken away. Sophia mumbled. I'm not that silly. I asked. What do you want to eat? Sophia thought a moment. Then tried looking at me. Didn't we say yesterday to eat separately at home? Just habit. I completely forgot about that. Just got off work and only wanted to take you to eat. Can't a boyfriend take his girlfriend to eat once? I didn't plan to make excuses. Just using my status to pressure her. I said, of course you can. Sophia didn't dare object, but then remembered last night's careful calculations. Even just eating cheap meals daily would cost nearly 1,000 yuan monthly, and I just bought a car. Could save however much, should try saving. Sophia wasn't too hungry today anyway. How about noodles? I glanced at her, immediately understanding that little thought. Knew but didn't expose it. I nodded. Fine, I happen to want noodles too. There's a tofu pudding noodle shop that's really good. And cheap too. Hearing those two words, cheap. Sophia breathed a sigh of relief. Corners of mouth blooming into a sweet smile. I silently shook my head. It was an old noodle shop. Located in an old pedestrian street. Cars couldn't enter. Could only park outside. I led Sophia through a small alley. Mossy stone walls among residential areas. Corridor wide enough for 3 or 4 people side by side. Sound of children playing. Light breeze blowing. Ivy on walls swaying bright green. Sophia opened her dark eyes wide looking around. Walking close behind me, I naturally grasped her hand. Walking while telling old stories. I said, I have deep impressions of this place. Sophia stopped looking around, listening attentively. I continued, back in elementary school. Dad would take me to school every morning. Before arriving, always stopped here for breakfast. Sophia responded, childhood flavors, right? That's why the impression is so deep. Not exactly. I shook my head. Actually, the taste here isn't that special. Sophia was puzzled. Then why such a deep impression? I said, because of my dad. Saying this, I paused before continuing. Every time he'd give me the fried egg and tofu from his noodle bowl. Just ate a few bites then went outside to wait for me. Uncle is truly a good person. Sophia felt warmth listening. I nodded. I always thought so too. Until once I ate a bit fast. Went out to find him. And saw him sitting at the goat meat stall at the alley entrance. Drinking goat organ soup, even ordering a plate of vinegar-mixed peanuts. If not for that incident, Dad's image would still be very great. Sophia, Ethan Carter. Back then I consoled myself. Dad was still in puberty. Sneaking food, though knowing it was wrong. But Sophia couldn't help laughing. I turned to look at her. Sophia, if you still want tofu pudding noodles, I'll sneak to that corner to continue puberty. Sophia understood I was joking. But still hesitated a bit. She said, but it's a bit expensive. I answered, just a few dozen yuan. Today consider it celebrating getting my car. Sophia lowered her head hesitating. I softened my voice. Listen to me, okay? She gently answered, like touching some switch. Sophia's gaze immediately changed. I'll listen to you. Don't know if it was an illusion. But I discovered. I seem to really like this commanding dialogue style. Not sure, should try again later. Old pedestrian street goat and beef shops like this usually have authentic flavors. Mainly serving neighbors around here. All familiar faces for over a decade. No chance of fakes. Prices affordable too. 2 bowls of goat organ soup. 1 plate of goat stomach mixed with scallions. Plus tender soft rib portion. Free cucumber salad with rice. 2 people eating, quite filling. Sophia worried, did we order too much? Sitting down, she asked quietly. I laughed. I eat a lot. Said that. But when dishes arrived, I still kept serving her food. Sophia felt so embarrassed. You eat too. Let me do it myself. I pretended not to hear. Serving food while discussing work. Asking which supermarket she worked at. Saying tomorrow I'd drive her to work. Sophia suddenly felt pampered. Putting down her bowl. Not convenient, don't trouble you. I said, as long as still in Riverside City. How far could you be? Sophia said it'd be a detour. I said just a few minutes. She truly didn't want to trouble me. Seeing her keep refusing, I joked, or did you meet some guy at work? And afraid I'll see? Sophia snapped, I didn't. Like a cat, whose tail got stepped on. Immediately bristling up. That sound made surrounding customers curious too. Glancing over several times, I didn't expect such a strong reaction. Froze a moment. Hurriedly soothing. I was just joking, Sophia. She glared at me, speechless. Eyes reddening. Like wounded but only daring to endure inside. A moment later she blinked several times. Lowering her head avoiding gazes. Voice also dropping. That kind of joke isn't funny at all. She really cared about this. Before, to repay debts she had to film suggestive clips. Struggling to survive. Once thought after paying debts she'd end it all. Didn't expect I'd appear, saying I liked her. She then decided to hide the entire past. Offering her whole life to me. wanting to start fresh, live once more. That past remained what she regretted most. Hiding it from me made her suffer greatly. Every day thinking, how to repay this love. That kind of joke, she couldn't bear it. Reacting by instinct, couldn't control it. But calming down, Sophia felt regret. She was terrible. Why lose temper with him? She lowered her head, blaming herself. Didn't even dare eat. I said, I'm sorry. Shouldn't joke like that. Already very guilty and regretful. Now hearing me apologize, Sophia couldn't take it, not caring who was around. She immediately looked up, eyelashes trembling, continuously shaking her head. No, I'm wrong. I lost temper. Sorry. Being teased like that, and getting angry, that's normal. But why was she apologizing to me? I momentarily didn't understand. Since hearing me apologize, Sophia kept panicking. He treated her so well. Yet she lost temper with him. He even had to apologize to her. Sophia kept thinking, why did she have such a terrible temper? Truly deserved discipline. She feared I'd stop liking her over this. Feelings fading came from small things accumulating until full, then becoming disappointment. No breakup was sudden, just accumulated disappointment. Thinking this, more panic. Sorry, I was wrong. Really sorry. Sophia nearly cried. She frantically said, how about you scold me? If you're really angry, just scold me. Hit me too. That's fine. Right now is fine. That sound shocked surrounding tables. Everyone coincidentally perked their ears listening. Sneakily glancing this way, I stared at her dumbfounded, looking into those anxious, fearful yet sincere eyes. The CPU in my head seemed about to overload. Sophia, are you hiding some strange preference? Not telling me? Chapter 38. Photo together. I consoled her a while, speaking gently. This silly girl kept wanting to punish herself to atone. No matter what I said, didn't get through. I had to tell her to finish eating first then talk. Only then did she calm a bit. Sophia lost focus. No mood to eat either. Ate reluctantly, like waiting for punishment. I asked, not eating anymore? Sophia sat up straight, head down. I'm full. I sighed, calling for takeout boxes, packing the remainder, leaving the goat meat shop. Sky darkening quickly, leaving the shop. Already dusk. Sophia kept her head down, walking behind me. The whole way, didn't say a word. Quietly returned to the car. I didn't rush to start the engine. She sat in the passenger seat, face full of guilt, not daring to look at me. I'm truly terrible. Punish me, scold me, hit me, anything. She gripped her clothes tightly, speaking softly. I answered, I'm not angry. Joking like that truly wasn't right. No. Sophia panicked slightly, looking up at me. Eye sockets reddened. Every time you say it's your fault, my heart feels squeezed. The fault is mine. I was wrong. No matter what I said, didn't get through. Even if I step back 10,000 times. No matter how angry, couldn't hit you. Sophia didn't know what was wrong with her either. Making mistakes but not being punished. Inside felt empty. Uneasiness kept rising. Like that summer after college entrance exams. Her only relative left. No one cared or scolded her anymore. She sniffled. Glistening eyes looking at me pitifully. Don't ignore me, okay? I never said I'd ignore you. I pulled out a tissue, wiping the tear rolling from her eye corner. This teardrop is too weak too. She didn't take the tissue either. Just quietly looked at me, letting me wipe tears until nearly dry. I gently stroked her cheek with the tissue. I said, I'll take you somewhere. Sophia hummed softly. After crying, her whole being became even softer. Sky completely dark. Street lights twinkling. I drove turning toward the opposite direction from Riverside Commercial District. Getting farther from downtown. Surroundings gradually sparse. Visibility also widening. Driving like this over 10 minutes. Outside pitch black. Sophia looked out the window, trying to recognize where this was. I slowly decelerated, turning into a simple parking lot. Stopped the car. Both got out. Sophia observed the unfamiliar surroundings. Lights in the parking lot not very bright. This place seemed a bit desolate. I'm a bit scared. Her voice became wary. While speaking, unconsciously moved closer to me. So she feared strange places. Fortunately, not fearing me, I naturally grasped her hand. Never been here before? Sophia shook her head. Never, Ethan Carter. Actually, this place isn't desolate. Look. I pointed ahead. She looked in my direction. Could see pedestrians walking along the path. We also joined the crowd. Holding hands, walking together. Walking a distance. Could hear the river water murmuring. Leaving the small path, the view opened up. A cool breeze carrying moisture blew over. Extremely refreshing. The Riverside River. Sophia looked at the unfamiliar scenery around. Not too certain. But in Riverside City there was only this one big river. Careful with your feet. I held her hand, leading along the riverbank slope. This is upstream of Riverside River. Look that way. You'll see the big Riverside Bridge. Sophia lifted her dress hem, watching her steps on the uneven ground. She walked onto the sandy beach, then looked in the direction I pointed. Indeed, could faintly see Riverside City's landmark. The big Riverside Bridge, I said. The scenery here is prettier. Plus there's a small sandy beach. More fun to play than at Riverside Bridge. We both stepped onto the soft sand, walking deeper. A few kids chattering, holding plastic shovels, scooping sand, chasing each other. Adults leaned on stone railings chatting. Street lamps bright. Didn't feel dark at all. I saw Sophia watching the kids. So said, kids like playing in sand. But actually their parents are the ones who like coming here more. I deliberately paused, then continued, like me bringing you here. Sophia lowered her head, muttering softly, I'm not a kid anymore. I heard clearly but said nothing more. And indeed, her mood had improved noticeably. We walked to the stone railing. I let go of her hand, leaning on the rail, watching water flowing down from above. I recalled and said, when I was little, my parents often brought me here. I really liked this place. Now bringing you here is because I want to share with you places I once loved. Sophia said. I tilted my head to look at her. Huh, where'd she go? Just about to say something romantic. Turned around and she was nowhere to be seen. I looked around, saw Sophia sitting on a boulder. She'd taken off her shoes, stuffed the small white socks inside. Smiling at me. The sand here is so soft. Under intersecting street lamps, she lifted her dress with both hands, stepping out. Barefoot, stepping on soft sand. Step by step approaching me. River breeze blowing through her long hair. Carrying the innocent smile on her face. Moonlight falling into her eyes. Sparkling with a strangely captivating beauty. Looking into those clear eyes. I froze a moment. Then quickly recovered. I smiled gently. Go slowly. Don't step on broken stones. Playing in sand and so happy. Still saying she's not a kid. But indeed, the sand here was fun. I also took off my shoes. Walking around the beach with her. Suddenly I remembered something. Taking out my phone. Sophia was busy playing with sand, unaware. Didn't notice I'd stopped. I called, Sophia. She stopped, turning her head to look. Didn't see anyone. Turned back to see me standing with my back to her. I raised my phone high. Sophia's gaze also looked up, following it. Click. The moment captured. The angle was selfie mode. I smiled, tilting my head. Just perfectly capturing Sophia's face. As she turned around dazed. This was our first photo together. I looked and laughed. You really look a bit silly. Sophia, then take another one. I think this one's perfect. I put the phone away. Sophia said nothing more. Two adults just finished playing in sand. Returning to the car. Just now huddled together viewing the photo. Now already fastened seatbelts preparing to go back. At one red light stop. Sophia suddenly said quietly. I truly haven't met any other man. I hummed. Saying nothing more. Knew this silly girl still cared. But she couldn't hear my apology either. So best to just leave it alone. Sophia, my temper isn't good. In the future you can discipline me more. I'll change. I said okay. Sophia lowered her head, sneaking a glance at me. Light from the dashboard reflecting on my face. Couldn't see emotions. She withdrew her gaze, lowering her head, fidgeting with fingers. Asked softly, do you still love me? Just finished asking. Green light came on, car started rolling. The car moved steadily. On the quiet night road. No music playing in the car. Only the gentle engine sound remained. Perhaps she didn't hear the question. I still hadn't answered. Sophia kept her head down, not brave enough to ask again. Sky dark yet road not congested at all. Car running smoothly. Before long arrived at the road beside the rental complex. Then go back first. Sophia unfastened her seatbelt. One hand on the door handle. Wait, I called her back. She turned to look at me. I also unfastened my seatbelt. I haven't answered you yet. She looked blank. Answer what? I smiled slightly. Earlier you asked if I still love you. Only then did she react. So I had heard, just hadn't answered yet. She smiled awkwardly, voice getting smaller. Not answering is fine too. I asked, can I answer now? Sophia blinked. Her smile was a bit forced. Of course. She knew today she was terrible. Or more accurately, always terrible. Just today it showed. If now I wanted to break up, she'd accept it too. But couldn't bear it at all. Her heart suddenly felt empty. Gaze gradually lowering. Light in her eyes also dimming. Suddenly, a shadow pressed close. Her vision filled with me. Her eyes widened slightly. Mind blank. Only the soft feeling at her lips remained. She froze, holding her breath. Not daring to move. A moment later, I pulled back, sitting in the driver's seat. I said softly, anyway. In the future we'll take many more photos together. Today was just the first one. For once, I felt myself nervous and shy too. When speaking, didn't dare look straight at her. Sophia also couldn't remember how she got out of the car. Just remembered her face burning red. Standing by the road watching the car drive away. She pressed her lips lightly. Then curved her brows slightly. Face getting redder and redder. In her eyes shone gentle and pure light. People call that light love. Today's love, you also confirmed it. Thank you for giving me the right to confirm many times. Giving me courage to love. That's right. In the future we have many more photos to take together. Sleep well, my beloved. In the future, please gently teach me more. Chapter 39. He's so good. Yesterday we kissed. Sophia stood by the road. Head lowered. Hands twisted together, mind still floating. Everything like a dream. Beside her, several students in blue-white uniforms rushed past. She didn't notice either. Hearing them shout, late, late. Morning exercise bell rang in the schoolyard. Backpacks on students' shoulders swaying with each running step. I drove past the school gate. Unconsciously glancing. Several students held at the gate, being recorded for tardiness. Suddenly felt nostalgic. I remembered back then I was often late too. Each time being recorded. The list gained another Jackie Chan or Andy Lau. Out making a living. Identities all self-created anyway. Just sign confidently enough. And hardly anyone questions it. Withdrawing the memory. I saw Sophia waiting by the road. She was truly prettier than in high school. I pressed my lips. In my mind flashed last night's lip-touching moment. My face immediately flushed hot. Thinking it over. That was still my first kiss. Though just a light touch. Heart still raced, full of tension. Now meeting her again still felt awkward. And not just me, she was the same. Her first kiss was also me. Last night I told her to remember the car color and license plate well. From afar, she'd already recognized my car. Car just stopped. She already opened the passenger door, fastening seatbelt skillfully. Our eyes accidentally met. Then both simultaneously looked away. I said, here's breakfast for you. Thanks. She answered, can I eat in the car? Yeah, eat. Just about done by the supermarket. Sophia answered softly, okay. Yesterday I promised to drive her to work. Car started, rolling slowly. Sophia obediently listened, starting to eat. Inside the car was quiet. The atmosphere a bit strange. Not awkward. But the kind of shyness both understood. Stopping at an intersection red light. Sophia said quietly, so awkward. Actually you don't need to drive me.